Hold it down. There you go.
This worked this morning.
And that one was to change its mind, I guess.
This is very finicky. We turned the volume up really loud this morning because the meeting that we had Tuesday night, people were suffering from not being able to hear. Good morning. My name is Brent Hilliard. It's a great day in Reigns County, right? This is a public meeting that's called that was posted on March the 6th at 3:51 p.m. It was a meeting that was called pursuant to the Texas Open Meeting Act or the Texas Government Code Chapter 551. This morning, Commissioner Northcutt is not in attendance. I'm not sure. I forgot where she went to, but she couldn't be here today. So, but notwithstanding that, we do have a quorum with all the remaining parties that need to be here being here. Therefore, it's my privilege to call this meeting to order. Today I'll ask Mr. Willis to do the prayer and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. Let's pray. Father, we thank you so much for the beautiful morning that you've blessed us with. Thank you for the recent rains, and we just pray that you'd be with us this morning, that we can conduct business of the county in an appropriate way. Father, we thank you for our employees. We pray that you'd be with them today and keep all of them safe in their jobs and what they're doing today. Thank you for all you do. We thank you for your son, and it's in his name we pray. Amen.
Amen. So, some house cleaning items that if you want to speak this morning, if you would please go to the back of the room and fill out one of these forms to be able to speak. If you anticipate speaking from the audience, you still need to fill one out. We're going to try to get this to where people come up to speak. That way you're speaking into a microphone and people are able to hear online later on. Or if they call and ask for a recording of it, they'll be able to get the recording and hear what you're having to say about it. So any more of these forms that need to be filled out, I see Mrs. Rogers back there filling out one. Before we start the public hearing, I've been asked by our auditor she seems to think it's important to pay the bills. So I promised her that I would move that up to the top of the list, even though it's under consent agenda item number 4. So we can pull that out of the consent agenda item if you'd like, and then we can vote on it. Is there a motion to pull it out to vote on it?
So moved.
Have a motion?
Second.
Second. Any discussion on that? All those in favor, aye. Now we can approve the accounts payable.
I move we approve the accounts payable in the amount of $329,526.29.
We have a motion to approve accounts payable.
Second.
2 seconds. Pick which one you want. Jeremy, this time maybe. All those in favor? Aye. Is there any public comment about that? Since we took it out of order, you're welcome to come up and speak to it now if you'd like to, since that's an extra agenda item. All right. All right, so at this time, I would accept the motion to enter into a public hearing.
So moved.
Have a motion to enter into a public hearing?
Second.
A second. Any discussion on that? All those in favor? Aye. How does everyone like the new arrangement that Commissioner Young organized? You get to look at them now. They can't hide behind them. Behind each other.
Dodged the camera for a few years.
I'm just kidding. No, I've heard that people appreciate it, and we're happy to accommodate that. Before we get started, also in the back there's a form that says rules of procedure, conduct, and decorum for meetings in the Commissioners Court. I'd ask you, if you don't have a copy of it, take it and read it. It actually applies to any meeting that we have, for the most part, that's listed. All the meetings are listed in this document, but it would also apply to the public hearings as well. We like to limit the discussions to when you appear before us to 5 minutes. And while we're not going to, oddly enough, on Tuesday, my wife is the detail lady. She's not here this morning, but she timed it, even though we weren't timed. Oh, there she is. She's back there. And there was only one person that went over 5 minutes. Most everyone went almost right to 5 minutes, just intuitively. It happened like that. I thought that was pretty cool. So we won't necessarily time it, but we may ask you to pause your discussion at some point if it gets too lengthy. So with that, this will be a public hearing on, as you can read there, it's the public hearing on the Rains County forming a Chapter 391 Regional Planning Commission for Rains County, Texas, and joining with Van Zant County, and participating with their 391 Regional Planning Commission. The Rains County Commission Court will also discuss the potential creation of the 391 Regional Planning Commission for Rains County or joining Rains County, as the case may be, which Rains County has already created one that's an existing commission that hasn't been fully filled. The existing commission under Texas Local Government Code Chapter 391 aims to enhance local coordination with state agencies on development, infrastructure, and projects such as energy initiatives and promoting efficiency and community input. So with that, we'll stick to the same methodology that we did on Tuesday night, Jeremy. And if you don't mind, we explain we already participate in a 391 agreement.
Yeah.
You're on.
ETCOG is the 391 commission that we're already a part of. As I explained Tuesday, they do everything from our senior center to the JobWorks bus that you see at Brookshire's every Tuesday. I'm on the executive committee. Their hands are in everything. There's 14 counties east of us: Smith County, Kemp County. I can't name all the counties yet. Cherokee. But we all kind of, commissioners, judges, elected officials, we're on all different committees to deal with grants regarding bulk trash. Our tire event that we have is ran through ETCOG. Just all sorts of things. So it's just a group of counties working towards a particular, I won't say problem. It can be good stuff too, but all working together to get the boat moving in the same direction. Works really well. It's great to go to those meetings because the commissioners and judges in all these 14 counties have all of the same problems that we do. But it's a pretty neat organization, and that organization works very, very well. It's organized. It's been, I don't know how long ETCOG has been around. I'm guessing lots and lots of years. But we do a really good job of taking advantage of a lot of the programs that they have. And like I said, I go there. I was supposed to drive there this afternoon. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it, depending on the length of this meeting. But just like I said, it's a bunch of folks that are in the same boat we are, whether they're dealing with solar farms or battery storage farms or water or senior meals. And we work together to come to to try to get things done the best way we can.
And an example of that would be the reason you're going there today, which is
Maybe going there today.
maybe going.
General Land Office. There's a huge pile of money. I can't remember off the top of my head. $97 million that we can access for roads and bridges and storm damage from. I'd have to look at it. 2024. Can't remember the particular event, but there's a big pile of money that's available that we can go after to help some of our issues.
So that would be an example of local coordination with state agencies to develop infrastructure, just as an example.
Aren't what we're talking about today different to that?
It is, but I was just giving an example of it,
Okay.
because a lot of people may not know that we already have a 391, but I felt like, just to distinguish what it does and what it doesn't do, I thought that would be a good way to explain what a 391 does do and the fact that we already do just by the one. So, which goes to the point of regional planning for creation of Ranks County. All right, so I've reorganized the list. We have a number of people that had previously spoke that want to speak again, and that's great. They have a lot of information to share with you. But today, I don't believe Mr. Jim Irwin has spoken yet. Would you please step forward, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Just so you know what Jim is talking about.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
No, thank you.
Please proceed, sir. Please state your name just so that the public can hear this correctly.
My name is Jim Irwin. I am a resident of Ranks County. I live on County Road 3345. I'm an electrical engineer. I have a PE in the state of Texas, and I've worked many years as a power engineer. Today, I would like to discuss the electrical implications of installing renewable energy sources in Ranks County. And with that, I would like to look at the Barrett Solar Farm, because a picture is worth 1,000 words. As discussed in the ERCOT proceedings, the capacity of that station is 125 megawatts. Of course, the technology is solar, and it is proposed to be completed March the 15th, 2026, which is coming up pretty quickly. The acreage involved is 895 acres in Rains County, east of Dallas. And I'd like to repeat that again, 895 acres. Now I want to take a look for a minute at the Project Power Purchase Agreement, PPA. And I'll read it directly as stated by ERCOT. The project has a PPA with a major data center developer, meaning the energy is already contracted and will support large-scale computing operations. Again, it is already contracted. All right. So what does that mean to us? Point number one, the electrical benefits to Rains County is zero because the power is already contracted. We can't get it. 895 acres are used for one entity, one data center, not DFW. So point number two, let's take a look at the Barrett complex. And let's all get in our cars and drive down, because a picture is worth 1,000 words and it's easy to see. When we look at the complex, you notice there is a large array of solar panels, as expected. Located next to the solar panels is an electrical substation, which is used to step up the voltage from the voltage used by the solar panels to 138,000 volts. And it is used, of course, to produce energy for the grid. Now, next to that is connected a transmission switching station used to connect the substation to the transmission line and interconnection to the ERCOT grid. Now, I say all of this just to show you the complexity, the overall amount of equipment that's needed for one of these solar installations. Now, let me give you a little bit of double E here, if I may. Typically, a 138 kV transmission line, again, it's 138,000 volts, is rated to carry roughly 300 megawatts. So let's crunch some numbers. So if you'll get out your lithium-ion calculators, and you take 125 megawatts and you divide that by the 300 megawatts, we're looking at 42% of the transmission line capacity is used just for one user. If you were to allow another solar farm of comparable size to be installed, you would consume nearly 2,000 acres for 2 users, plus basically use up the capacity of the transmission line. So, think about this: as more load is added, the economics may require that the voltage of the transmission be increased to 345 kV or 3,400 or 340,000 volts, meaning more land acquisition as you consider easement rights, possible eminent domain issues, etc. So we've got a lot of equipment involved. So bottom line, what is it that I am saying and what is it I'm asking for here? Let the buyer beware. Considering safety issues, environmental issues, aesthetic issues, and these electrical issues. Renewable energy sources and the associated infrastructure concerns may not be a good idea for Rains County. Although this discussion has centered mainly on renewable energy supply sources, considerations and concerns should be given to battery pack installations with associated power conversion systems, battery cooling systems, physical size, space requirements, etc. These merit additional attention. How much land are we talking about with battery packs? Are we looking at an acre? Are we looking at 10 acres? Or are we looking at 100 acres below? Now, the interconnection between the battery and the substation, what's involved there? Is that another transmission line that will be required? We're talking about the use of a lot of acreage for a small benefit, I feel, to our county. And I am, for the record, for 391.
Thank you, sir. Dusty Gonzalez. Oh, you can speak later. I'm sorry. Yep, I missed that. Stephanie McCarter. You didn't want to say anything on the 391?
Hi, I'm Stephanie McCarter, and I'm
We haven't
from
turned
Rains
up
County.
today, so
Yeah.
a little hotter today. Yeah.
So for people who weren't here last time I spoke, I do environmental medicine. I've lived in Rains County for 26 years. My mentor, who was amazing and globally known in environmental medicine, told me Rains County is the best place to move to. He used to study all the air quality and flow of pollution from the south of Texas. It's beautiful. So I moved here, and my biggest nightmare is coming true that we're putting these things in, because I worked with people who were 9/11 firefighters. I worked with people at Love Canal. I mean, these things catch fire in the runoff, in the heavy metals, and all the things that we are at risk of contaminating our county with are not just going to go away. They're long lasting. The water gets contaminated. Right now, the Eaton fires, Palisades fires, they remediated everything for that. There's still a ton of lead in the soil. And what we're learning, just so people understand this, there is no safe level of lead anymore. 5 micrograms per deciliter of lead is the limit for a pregnant woman. And now we're learning it's 257% increase in cardiovascular disease with every time you have that level. I treat baby boomers, I treat all these people, and now we're going to add more to our county as far as this contamination. So I'm looking at the solar panel MSDS, and it's got aluminum, lead, silicone, plastics. So my concern is, how do we do this? And then my other concern is with the battery stations. there are a lot of questions about how they're going to put out the fire. Because like we talked about last time, if you're using fluorine compounds, perfluorinated compounds, that gets in your water, your runoff, and that doesn't go away. Those are things that people don't know, that's PFAS is forever chemicals. They don't go out of your body. So how are we going to deal with that? What kind of amount of water are we looking at? Because I'm reading all these different amounts of water. In San Diego, they had to use 8 million gallons of water to put out one fire. Are they using thermal barriers between the battery modules? Are they going to use automatic gas detection? Explosion venting panels? There's so many things I have questions about. What type of backing are they using? And the other thing about these things is it passes to the next generation. So really want to prevent more of this. I second everything Mr. Irwin said. We have a beautiful county, and I don't want to give up more acreage and all of this for this serious contamination risk. So that's my points. Thanks.
Thank you. Vicki Carroll?
Again, my name is Vicki Carroll. I live off of 3425. My property is laid out in a way where there is a valley that runs from the projected BEST project, where water, like the rain we had the other night, runs across my property into Elm Creek. Elm Creek feeds into Lake Fork. That's just a brief visual for you of how close it is to public waters. Let me just kind of briefly go through this really quickly. These projects could lead to irreversible loss of agricultural land and rural land, degrading the scenic and environmental resources that define Rains County. The heavy equipment needed for the construction will significantly strain our county roads. These roads are not built for constant industrial traffic. The impact on my property value will be devastating. The amount of people that would even consider buying my property someday, that amount of people will narrow to a fine group of people that might even be interested in it. Most people will come in, take a look at it and go, I don't want my kids living by that. My grandkids can't come by that. So having this BEST project there devastates our property values. I haven't even looked into what my homeowner insurance is going to do. So I'm very, very concerned. I think all of the residents of Rains County need to have safety concerns for this. Our volunteer fire department, you've seen it, guys. They have to have fish fries so that they can buy new equipment. How are you guys going to make sure that they're furnished with the SCBA, which is self-contained breathing apparatuses? They're required to contain these fires. These fires are not put out; they're only merely contained. Is there a pre-incident planning system involved? How are you going to evacuate folks that are nearby? I have a neighbor who is completely physically disabled. It takes many people to get him from one location to another. How is that person going to be safely evacuated from the fire, toxic smoke? I have a list of questions that I'm going to go over real quickly, and I'll be done quickly. Where does the water come from that cools batteries? How is the runoff contained? If there is a fire in a spot, how are you going to keep all that water from going into Lake Fork? Another thing to consider is the Carrizo-Wilcox Aquifer, which is the aquifer that is the groundwater that the farmers and ranchers use locally here. How is that going to be protected and not polluted? What about protecting aquatic life at Lake Fork? You know, a lot of our revenue comes from fishing tournaments, outdoorsmen and women. Noise and light pollution, that is a big impact for me being a neighbor to this project. That my quality of life, if I've got what looks like, New York City right beside my house, that's not what I moved to Rains County to live in. Who's going to pay to service the county roads and do the construction? And I have a side question. What's the weight limit on county roads for heavy vehicles? Because I feel like we're gonna surpass that.
I don't see Corey. Corey or Ronnie, are y'all here? Ronnie's here. He'll tell you here in a minute.
Okay, great. Let me finish real quick because I got my time limit. How again will residents be evacuated in an emergency? You guys are just going to ring my cell phone and go, "Hi." How long do these batteries burn? Who provides the volunteer fire department with the SCBA? How are residents be alerted to malfunctions? How are the batteries continually monitored? Is there someone who's physically there? Are y'all just going to fly a drone by it once in a while and just do a little flickadoo? What happens to the batteries once they're expired? Are they going to be properly disposed of, or are they just going to get moved and they're going to be somebody else's problem? Because that's not cool. How long is this battery lease farm, or the battery farm lease? How long is that for? And what are the fire protection measures? And you guys already have a copy of those questions because I ran them by you.
Yes, ma'am. I wrote that down in my notes here. That's why I stopped taking notes.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. Mrs. Brockratz? Good morning.
Morning.
So Tuesday evening, they were talking about, how we're just getting our information off Google or Facebook or wherever. And I wanted to assure you that I have gone to Senator Bob Hall screaming at Grid Down Power Up in Austin that addressed a panel discussion on vulnerabilities of the U.S. electric grid. The panel members included Bob Hall, who's a graduate at Citadel with a degree in electrical engineering. He served in the U.S. Air Force officer and worked in protecting the Minuteman Missile 2 system from electromagnetic pulse, EMP threats. David Tice is a producer, president of Tice Capital, and executive producer of Soul Surfer, and over two years he developed Grid Down Power Up to raise awareness about the grid vulnerability, including EMP cyber attacks and solar storms. Dr. Peter Benson Pry, I think is my favorite. He's executive director of the Task Force on National and Homeland Security and author of Blackout Wars, Attacking the U.S. Electric Power Grid. He has a PhD in defense and national security policy and is a leading expert on EMP threats. And he's head of Trump's EMP committee, task force. Frank Gaffney, founder and president of the Center of Security Policy. He previously served as Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense under President Reagan. He hosts national security programs, Secure Freedom Radio, and Securing America. Command Sergeant Major Michael Mabee, U.S. Army retired. Author of civil defense books, he has contributed to federal rulemaking on grid security and focuses on community preparedness for long-term power outages. Lieutenant Colonel Eddie K. Stanford, USAF, retired. Founder of the Joint Base San Antonio Electromagnetic Defense Initiative, selected as the National EMP Pilot Test leader to promote critical infrastructure, to protect critical infrastructure. Tommy Waller, Director of Infrastructure Security at CSP, he worked as federal policymaker on grid vulnerabilities and particularly EMP and cyber threats. The panel emphasized that the grid is vulnerable to physical attacks, cyber terrorism, EMPs, electromagnetic storms, warning the catastrophic societal and consequences if no action is taken. And Blackout Wars is a great book that Dr. Peter Benson Pry wrote. It refers to a book related concept, warning of an existential threat posed to the United States by a catastrophic nationwide blackout. This could result from cyber attacks, sabotage, geometric storms, or an electromagnetic pulse, EMP, from high-altitude nuclear detonation. The book argues that such an event, referred to as blackout war, could collapse the electrical power grid, paralyzing critical infrastructures like food, water, communications, transportation, and healthcare, potentially leading to the deaths of millions. It highlights federal government has been slow to act, Several U.S. states, including Maine, Virginia, Arizona, Florida, Oklahoma, Texas, and Colorado, have initiated programs to protect their local power grids and prepare for such an emergency. These state-level efforts are likened to building walls against the invisible enemy. We're inviting them in. China has said they will attack us on our power grid and our critical infrastructure. They have parts in this, and the solar panels and the battery energy storage systems. I also attended in Austin the Secure Texas Power Grid Symposium with many other national experts on this topic, warning of these things. This is a much bigger picture than just Rains County. If you look at the United Nations book, Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030, the green energy scam is part of it. It's meant to destroy America, to make us a third world country, so that they level the playing field by destroying us, so they can have one world government and the new world order. We have to stop this. East Texas Council of Governments and Texas Association of Counties promote sustainability or sustainable development. Sustainable development is Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030. Please know the Constitution. Read the Constitution to which you've taken an oath, because this stuff is antithetical to the Constitution to which you've taken an oath. You know, God says the love of money is the root of all evil. We've got to protect our land, our lives, for our children, for our grandchildren. We've got to stand up and say no to global communism and have nothing to do with these workers of evil. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Franklin. Mr. Perkins? David Bryant Perkins, as you prefer to be called.
Well, I don't prefer it. But I told you why I did it.
Yeah.
Because some people say I'm a snob because I use my full name. But I'm not. I could say it again or repeat it.
Yes, sir.
When I was in second grade, I ordered some Army men in the back of the comic book. I don't remember doing that. Well, I lived in Bastrop, Texas in 1962, and rather than 4 to 6 weeks as promised, it took me half a year to get them. Turned out there was 3 David Perkins living in Bastrop, Texas, population under 2,000. So I said, well, the only way to distinguish myself is to use my full name that my parents gave me. So that's why. Okay, first, I want to commend you for, I guess, getting all the restaurants involved to try to supply the senior center. Is that what you were getting them together to do, or?
It's off this topic. Maybe we could discuss it.
Oh, and I just wanted to say thanks for doing that. And I think another way that we can all get involved is, I give them my Tabasco sauce. Since I learned to make sourdough bread, I'm going to give them, but we as individuals can just, when you got something extra, you made 2 cakes or something, that makes a big difference. The seniors themselves, they'll bring their food, they'll bring whatever baked goods that they have, they make to help supplement that to run. So that's one way we can support it, because as usual, funds are being cut in all different dimensions, of course, and that's just the way that we all can, get together to help that. I was up here last Tuesday. I made my feelings known and I presented some of the problems with the battery, which I'm sure everybody's heard, all the different things. There was some questions as to whether what you hear off the internet, or what was it, is that gentleman here, the guy that spoke, that was the...
No, Cobra wasn't able to come today. They couldn't be here.
Oh, okay, well, no, I meant the guy that was the Navy. He was the Navy.
Oh, no, I don't see him here either.
Okay. Well, I guess made some statements. What was it? If I'll try to remember. I had to leave because I wanted to get some chicken at Leo's before they closed. But he said that he lived nearby. His football team beat our football team 20 years ago or something. And he lived across from a battery place, and he never saw it burn down. Well, I of course, did some research, and I sent it to you all. I don't know if you had a chance to read it. There's been, well, first of all, here, let me start before we start quoting all that. I think the problem is this thing was starting to be developed. Of course, you weren't here, Judge, but 2022, is that about right when this thing started to get going? That's when you should have had these meetings to let the people get involved before you all make an arrangement like that. From my understanding, it's already set. All the contracts are made, and now that you're finding out how dangerous it is, you guys are kind of in a tough spot because you already made a commitment legally and everything to do that. Is that correct? I just want to get the situation.
Only in the solar project is there a written commitment from the county.
Okay, good. Well,
The battery project is,
okay, well, good.
And we did have similar meetings in 2023.
Okay, for that, I'm
Yeah.
talking about the battery.
Yeah.
The solar thing is, like I said,
yeah, the battery.
and going on there when you have these meetings, I'm kind of slow in that. Maybe just have them one at a time because it's kind of confusing to talk about three things and stuff at once. But if you're debating,
We can have more meetings. We just tried to.
and I'm not doing it, I'm just saying in the future, maybe we can do, because that's where you're going to get, we often think of
What
resources.
happened was the girls played basketball, therefore they kind of got cattywampus. So
That's all
I'm just making sure, just not really defending him, just making a statement. We did make an attempt to have two separate meetings.
Okay, well, no, I meant at least maybe 4 times a year or something.
Oh, sure.
I'm talking about overall, because we often think of resources as oil, cattle, and stuff, but the human mind is a great resource as well. And I think everybody's ideas and everything to contribute is how those things come up when we have a discussion about, for example, if it was about the senior center, let everybody come up and give an idea or something on that.
Absolutely.
But as far as the best, okay, what was it? Okay, they said it was 125, actually 175. They studied that it will supply 160,000 homes. Actually, that study was done in Belgium. All the houses are close together. In Texas, it's quite different, so it'd only be 35. And the one that the battery that's proposed on that would only supply for 2 hours. And like you said, somebody, it doesn't go here. The one in Van Zandt, all the energy that battery that they have there, it goes to Rockwell. So you're not getting benefit and stuff from that. Of course, all the fire risk and everything. I found some that's pretty amazing here. Green Lancer documents the cell failure can propagate through the entire rack, so you can have one. I got a lot of them. I'm just going to go through a few here. Half the incidents occur within the first 6 months of operation. Lithium iron fires can reunite even days after being extinguished. The flammable gases that can actually lead to a violent explosion even before the fire starts. The one that was done in London said that the current regulations that most people use globally are not enough to even deal with it. Prone to overheating, swelling, leakage, fire, smoke, explosions that can occur not only because of the chemicals involved, but because of the software that's being used. There's been, well, even in 2020, there was several thousand studies done. There's been just under 12,000 studies done about this. All of them pretty much say this. All the problems and stuff with it. I read about 400 of them, and they're all replicating this. And I don't mean just reading the study, but doing an analysis to show whether it's correct or not. In fact, I did that when COVID came out. When they told you that, hydroxychloroquine is horse medicine and all this stuff. In fact, anybody here at Shady Grove Baptist Church? Remember, I told y'all, don't take the vaccine and don't take remdesivir. Thank you. and I was called a conspiracy theorist back then. But in my heart, because I read the studies. In fact, if you guys have a study, I'd be more than happy to read it and let you know whether it's garbage. Because see, that's what goes on. Even the studies that about you and all those people quote, it would be like going like, well, we saw 12 people eating ice cream cones, so we determined that Hershey bars are dangerous. I mean, that's what goes on. They hide it with all the, scientific data, but that's the kind of thing. I think if we have a problem to where you have, like you said, the commitment and you can't get out of it, God will always find a way for you to solve your problems. And my father told me there's always at least 100 solutions to any problem. And there's always one that will benefit both sides. So I would suggest that we all look at it in that approach if you want to get out of it. There's one way. First of all, if you look at those contracts, if they didn't disclose that there was a foreign entity on it, you can get out of it. What they'll do is, like for example in here, they'll say, well, it's known that China supplies 80% of all batteries. Well, is it on your contract? Well, then they didn't inform you. That would be one way. Another way, and I've actually thought this was one way to at least delay it to go to the Supreme Court. If everybody in Rains County will pray on it, pray on it. And if you come up with it, and I've always learned that as long as you do something in the legal sense, where there's not a precedent, you have a good case of winning because they can't find anything in the past to go against your argument. And for example, if we prayed and we said, well, somebody had a vision and, if we built this thing, God was going to destroy it. And they said, well, it becomes a religious matter. It doesn't become a matter of whether or not it's a civil case. And we have a precedent on that because I think there was some objection to when they built the Catholic Church, and I believe it was destroyed by a terminal ill. Was it?
I don't know.
No, it was destroyed by the tornado.
Tornado, okay.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit off topic.
Well, no, I'm giving you a legal case on how to do it.
We're wrapping it into it.
Okay, well, in other words, pray on it.
Yeah.
I'm sure that an idea will come or something how to do about it because there always is a way, and that way it'll get you guys off the hook. And yeah, basically it. And as far as money problems and all that, I've said it 100 times. I'd love to do a thing on that. You need to think about having these things earn money rather than it being just a tax benefit. For example, if you want to have a battery storage, why not have a unit that's creating electricity so that it can supply the county and we can sell that to other things rather than storing it and shipping it off to somebody else. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Dennis Breckritz? You can swing the mic around if you want to. It doesn't have to say right where it's at. It's up to however you want to do it.
My name is Dennis Price. I live on 3330 Rains County Road. Where there is a will, there is a way. Desmond Doss was a U.S. Army medic during World War II who refused to carry a weapon due to his Christian beliefs. He then had to train alongside armed soldiers and faced ridicule. During the Battle of Kanawha, at Magnetic Escarpment known as Hacksaw Ridge, one of the fiercest battles in the Pacific, most of his fellow soldiers had been killed, wounded, or forced to retreat under enemy fire. Alone, Doss descended the nearly vertical cliff under machine gun and artillery fire. He secured each wounded soldier and lowered him down with rope by guiding them himself. In and then he climbed back up repeatedly to save the next. During this grueling solo effort, he rescued 75 men, becoming the first conscientious objector awarded the Medal of Honor. A testament to how unwavering will, courage, and faith can achieve the impossible. In Chapter 391 Commission gives their support legal framework to plan and coordinate regional projects affecting our county. While forming one does not obligate action, it provides tools to manage solar farms, wind farms, BESS, data centers, and other infrastructure projects. It ensures the county can engage early with developers and state agencies. A board composed of 2/3 officials and 1/3 citizens adds community input, transparency, and credibility. Many citizens have offered to help and would make great board members. Rains County may later join an existing 391 commission or form additional commissions. Voting against forming a commission or joining an existing commission could even be seen as failing to uphold the court's constitutional duty to protect its citizens and raises questions about leadership's ability to manage large-scale development. Mr. Young, you said there's not much you can do and that we should reach out to our state legislatures to get them to do something. We are doing that. There's communication going on right now. And we're working to make changes. In the meantime, there are many things you and this court can do. Forming a 391 commission is just one. Mr. Cook, as a board member of the East Texas Commission of Governments, ECOG, you are aware of the power of the Chapter 391 Commission. You should have no hesitation in empowering Rains County to use legal tools available to protect the people who live here. Mrs. Northcutt, unfortunately, is not here today, but she has said in the past that the solar farm agreement was made before she was in office and has not been able to do anything and couldn't do anything about it. Well, she is in office today, and there is something she can do. Mr. Willis, as you leave office, here's your chance to do the right thing for Rains County. And Mr. Hiller, you have said that if Rains County citizens don't want green energy, you will do what you can to protect them. The people do not want green energy projects in Rains County. Desmond Doss, facing constant fire on Hacksaw Ridge, kept lowering wounded soldiers down to his death, whispering to himself, just one more, just one more. That resolve carried him through one impossible rescue after another, saving 75 lives. Where there is a will, there is a way. Vote to form a 391 commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cartwright. Let's see, who did I miss? Ms. Rogers. I saved the best for last.
Oh, thank you. Such a smooth.
Well, you know,
I don't know that I'm the best. When else?
you've been going first. I thought last would be fine this time.
Well, I have some new things to go along with the old things.
Well, good.
Yeah. Suzette Rogers, I live at 1960 RS County Road, 3425, Brashear. And as you can tell, the commissioner know me. On Tuesday, March 10th, it was mentioned that the best can't be built near residential houses, churches, schools, and there was one more thing. I don't remember what it was. Well, within 1 to 2 miles from this potential best, we have at least 1 to 3 churches. We have multiple residents that live next door, across the road. And keep in mind, we all know how small county roads are, not much of a distance. We have lots of houses within 1.5 miles. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Judge Hilliard, I know you came to visit us a couple of weeks ago, so do you have, by chance, you can print out the tax roll? Do you know how many residents were on your list within our area that you were gonna come visit? Can you provide that for me?
There were too many to hit the doors that day.
Okay, there's a lot.
There are a lot.
So we may not be a residential area in a neighborhood, but there are a lot of homes, a lot of residents, a lot of families.
But I don't know the answer to that question, but I'd have to,
But that's fine, but
Just
you
supply-
listen, Steph, there's not 2 or 3 or 4.
no, there's not.
There's a lot of homes in that mile and a half.
Because of the curving road, it really wraps in even more, right?
Yes, exactly. So that's something to think about. We might not be in a neighborhood, but there are a lot of homes and families. Maybe we can do something.
Commissioner Young knows every one of them.
Yeah,
Point of view.
he's gonna learn who we are pretty soon. He's gonna know where we live. But, maybe we can, find that out, because there are a lot of families.
We can do that for you. I'll have my staff do that, as a matter of fact.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Okay, the Matrix Renewable people, I know it wasn't their subject to talk about the battery, but there was the man from the Navy in the green shirt, from Cobra and DEF CON, who mentioned all the little safety things that the best buildings, shipping containers have. He mentioned that there was HVACs. He mentioned that there was a water coolant system. He mentioned something, and I call it a balloon or a bubble, that if the batteries catch on fire, it puts the fire out. Well, my question to the best people, what happens if the HVAC goes out? Can the other 2 systems sustain it? We do have Texas heat, during the summertime. What if the water system fails? Can rodents get into the wiring system? I can tell you, my cats have a heyday looking for rodents. So those are things we need to find out. What kind of safety measures on the outside can protect the inside of those shipping containers? How many balloons or whatever those things are called around the batteries can explode before the whole shipping container goes? I don't think any of those things were mentioned, and I haven't read anything yet. So all the things we can do to bring in money to Reynolds County, other than the best facilities. I mentioned this to Corey, and I'm not sure if Jeremy was there the other night. Red River, New Mexico has one corporate business. They shut all their other corporations down. No corporations can go to Red River, New Mexico. It's all mom and pop businesses. Yes, they have tourism because they created the tourism. Yes, they do have skiing during the wintertime, but the rest of the year, they bring in concerts, art shows, quilt shows. We need to do more work to bring things into Reynolds County. We have lakes. We could put on more concerts. We could do things. Maybe we need to put our heads together, think of other means to bring in more money besides the battery storage. Okay. I won't throw anybody under the bus. But the other day it was mentioned that this property is going to brings in $60.42 annually for taxes. And the battery storage is going to bring in $300,000 or $270,000 annually. That's a lot of money, and I get it. But again, you're doing that at the expense of those residents that live around there within at least 2 miles. For those that say there's nothing that could be done about stopping us, Kendall County, Franklin County, and Van Zandt County have stopped their best. Maybe for different reasons. But they were able to find reasons to stop it. Franklin County did it as a nuisance. I don't know what it is. I haven't contacted them yet to find out exactly what nuisance they did it under. And maybe it wasn't the county that stopped it. It was a lawsuit, but it stopped. Doesn't matter how it stopped, but it got stopped. ERCOT, this was mentioned on Tuesday. ERCOT has canceled 23 projects in February alone. 17 BESS and 6 solar. For those that weren't here the other day. To those that say that the landowner can do what he wants to with his land, not totally true. He can't do it at the expense of his neighbors. So the battery storage people can't put something over there at the expense of the rest of us. And I want to thank all of you for coming out here and supporting the 391 or stopping BESS or whatever it is. Without the citizens, we can't do this. We can't show the commissioners that we do care. And again, thank you, commissioners, for your time.
Thank you. So Tuesday night, I promised that we were going to put on our website a place for the public to go to one, ask questions, and then two, I promised that we would upload documents onto our website for the public to look at. So like, you know, the tax abatement agreement for the solar project is going to be on the website. And so it's not quite finished. Casey and Mrs. Wolf stayed late last night to get as far as we could today. But if you go into the website, I know you really can't see this, but this is the homepage. On the left-hand side, it'll say quick links. If you run down, you'll see renewable energy. And when you get to renewable energy, it'll list the Barrett Solar Project, the Majeski Battery Project, Rains County Chapter 391 Commission, and Van Zandt County 391 Commission agreements. And in the top right-hand corner here, which this is going to get relocated because I don't like how it looks, but it'll have a place where you can fill in your name, your phone number, your email address, and the question you have, and we'll direct those questions to the operators of these projects. The answers that are provided to us we will not warrant or in any way whatsoever the answers as being true or correct or not, but at least your question will be answered or not if they choose not to answer it. But that was a way that I felt like we could consolidate it. And then by project, it will be the questions will be consolidated. So if there were Barrett Solar Project questions, and the answers would be under the questions and answers would be under Barrett. If they're Majeski, they would be under Majeski, and so forth for any project that's in here. So it'll be a way for you to go and have a consolidated area to look and see, has your question been answered or not? And if not, then you can go and ask your own question with respect to that particular category. Yes, ma'am.
Just a quick thought, during these meetings, it might be really helpful if you use that huge monitor there to put your website.
Well, I did think, I just happened to think, I didn't know for sure. And actually this morning, you'll see I put an iPad up over here because our recording failed. And so there's just so much time today for me to get it all done. But yeah, I could swing it up there the next time. I could do it now if I had the time, but I think you can go look at it. And then maybe next time when we get it fully finished, it'll all get rolled out. But the goal would be to have as much of it populated as possible before the weekend, subject to get Mr. Wright to approve some of the. I want to get some disclaimer language, added in there so that we're not held liable for something that we didn't actually say. Or we're only passing along answers. We're not warranting the answers, and we're not saying that we agree or disagree with them. We're just trying to increase the transparency to the public and giving more people a greater understanding of what's going on. So, and if you have any ideas or comments with respect to how it should be done differently, you can feel free to either stop by my office or email us, and let us know what those things are, because it's a creation that could be anything that we want it to be. And this was we put it together as fast as we could yesterday, and more importantly, last evening. Are there any? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, thank you so much for doing that. What a great service. I really appreciate that. I want to share with you, in addition, we've created RainsCountySafetyCoalition.org for anybody that wants to get more information on the topic. That's RainsCountySafetyCoalition.org.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, Casey, what time did you go home last night?
We didn't say super late. Probably 6.
6. Okay. All right. A little bit of overtime there, or actually comp time. I felt like it was important. Are there any other questions or comments on the 391 Commission? Mr. Wright, do you have anything you'd want to say in particular?
Sure. Just in general, the 391, so just to be real clear, if the county participates in that, it's not going to give the county authority to stop any of these projects from happening. The 391 is a chapter of the code that allows counties or other groups to work together to form regional planning groups, and it can have the effect of slowing some projects down. The problem is that there's, I think, an expectation that counties are going to have the ability to stop these things, and the legislature will not let the counties do that. There can be changes to allow counties to do that, but those have to occur in the legislature. And so all of the energy directed toward stopping things should be directed to the local people who are elected to the Senate and the House. And I know I heard some of those the discussions today where people who have talked to the state senator, there can be a bill this time around. The legislature starts in a few months in January next year. But it is very frustrating dealing with green energy projects or dealing with data centers now that counties unfortunately lack the authority to stop some of these things cold, even if they're terrible ideas. I deal with that constantly because I represent 3 different counties. And that's always the biggest question is why can't the county do something? Why won't the county do something? This is a terrible project for environmental concerns or electric use or water use or burden on existing infrastructure, roads, and electric especially. Counties have very few tools because the legislature continues to cut them and has over the past several sessions, but generally counties can only do what the state says they can do. So the state can, through the legislature, give counties the authority. It just has not done so far. And so part of the effort, if the idea is to slow or stop these projects, that should be directed also to the local elected representatives and to the state agencies that can control, which is the PUC, the Public Utilities Commission, and the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. There are some tools that the county definitely already has, and one of those is on the agenda later today. I think item number 15, the road damage agreement. Obviously, there's been a lot of comments about the lack of infrastructure necessary to carry these heavy trucks. And so to at least address that effort, because that is one area that hasn't yet been taken away from counties for authority to regulate, is to require road damage agreements to require trucking companies or construction companies that are doing what's called extraordinary use, which means very heavy and unanticipated use, to regulate those and to effectively force those companies to pay for damages to the roads. But overall, it's not, from what I've seen online, I think that there's a misunderstanding of whether or not a Chapter 391 regional group like this can legally institute a moratorium. And that definitely cannot happen under the current law. It can slow things down by a few months because basically what it does is allows the participating governments to work as a group with those 2 state agencies, the TCEQ and the PUC, and allows, it requires some extra time for planning. But currently the legislature doesn't give counties really any authority to establish a moratorium or to stop these projects. Cities can do it through zoning, but counties don't have zoning authority generally. There's very little zoning authority that any county has. Rains County, I think in the 60s it was established that Rains County can have authority to regulate within 5,000 feet of a lake through the Lake Walking Planning and Zoning Commission. I don't know if that's actually been established here. If it is, it's a long, complicated effort. We do have a version of that in Hunt County because when the legislature put that into place, it allowed the 3 counties that touch Lake Tawakoni to institute zoning. That's a really long, complicated process, and it definitely couldn't be used to stop this project. It could potentially in the future, if that hadn't been established and legal authority still exists, it could allow the county to use that as a way to zone, not zone out of existence existing uses in infrastructure, but to regulate things in the future through zoning. If there's an industrial zone that's established, though, then there would be a case that any land user would have to try to ask for these types of projects in that area. Overall, though, it is legal to enter into a 391 commission with other counties. I mean, it's a statutory right given to counties. It's just not going to necessarily have the teeth that I think there's some expectation that it will have.
Questions?
Can you give his name? I didn't get a chance to hear it.
Daniel Ray.
And Daniel Ray works as general counsel for the county.
Okay, thank you.
We're privileged to have Mr. Ray as our legal counsel. Any other questions or comments with respect to this before we close out the?
I would just like to say that I don't think there is any expectation that the 391 Commission is going to stop it or cause a moratorium. We've been advised that as the first step, that it's a pause tool to make sure that the fire codes are met, the National Fire Code, and all the safety things are taken into precaution. Because without a fire marshal, you are liable, county commissioners. So it is advantageous to do that, so we can not just help save Rankin County, but help protect y'all too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. I think the goal would be for us to understand holistically what we can and cannot do legally, and then seek the advice of Mr. Ray and come to some consensus here collectively, which would obviously be done. Would be done at another meeting potentially, since we can't come to consensus without having a public meeting. So there will be more public meetings with respect to this, but it's, I don't want to rush into it, but also, part of the reason for putting it on the agenda this time was there was a sense of urgency to let the public hear what's going on, and also for us to understand, and then to try to roll it all into one meeting has actually worked out really well, given the fact that Mr. Ray's able to come here.
Judge, can I ask a question while I have a professional in the audience?
The double E?
No, Mr. Jim Irwin.
Yeah, he's the double E.
I was on a call with our P3. The county buys power through a company called P3. It's a group that sells electricity to municipalities and counties. The call Tuesday was just talking about the Texas grid in general. And 30% of the power in Texas is generated through natural gas, 26% through wind, 13% through solar, 13% through coal, 10% through nuclear, and then the rest are just fractions. With the demand for electricity, Texas is growing. With the demand, how can we keep up with the demand in a timely fashion? Like right now, my understanding was to build a nuclear plant or another natural gas plant, it just takes years and years and years. The way it's been brought to my attention is a solar power generate, whether it's a PPA or whatever. That place was a pasture 3 years ago, and in a couple of weeks, it's going to be spitting out electricity. How does the state of Texas keep up with the demand with the other limitations of natural gas, coal, oil, nuclear, whatever? Does that make sense?
Well, ERCOT is struggling with that right now.
Mm-hmm.
The best way to limit demand is to limit the installation of these data centers. They use huge amounts of power. And one of the things that you will probably hear is the fact that we're adding additional generation to the grid. Well, that's a misnomer in the case of the Barrett site because they are adding the same amount of load, so it's a wash. In fact, what we're actually doing is decreasing the generation capacity of ERCOT because of the fact that load will be there 24/7, but the generation won't be there 24/7. So our load is increased. At the same time, then we don't have the generation capacity to stay up with it. So that's the biggest issue I know they face, and I would not want to be in their situation to have to stop some of this because, again, these are huge, huge loads. And I heard some information from Auditor that they're wanting to add 2.6 gigawatts of additional power because of these data centers. Just in that area alone, 2.6 gigawatts. That's 1,000 megawatts. Some of these load factors are unbelievable when you think about it.
Is it reasonable to think that these data centers are going to be curtailed because the president, our governor, they want the United States to be the leader. They want the state of Texas to be the leader.
Yeah.
And they're not going away.
I cannot answer that, and as I say, I would not want to face that situation, but it is a real situation. And like I say, in our case, that Barrett site is only going to one user, and we're using 900 acres just for that. We get no electrical benefit from that at all.
Can I ask, where did you get that PPA information?
I got it off of the ERCOT. I've got a handout. I will give each one of you.
Okay.
And
Well, we already.
Okay. And that information is available there.
Is that when the Cobra folks who built the Barrett site, when they were here Tuesday, they told us that electricity was going into the grid. And I actually emailed one of the representatives while you were talking and said, is this PPA for real? I haven't got a response yet, but that's just one of those things that we sitting here, or being here for weeks or months or years, like how in the heck does a county commissioner in Rains County dig up some little nugget like that? So I appreciate your input today. Thank you.
Well, again, it is going into the grid.
Yeah.
All power has to go into the grid to be sold.
They're just pulling that much power
We
out
don't
of the
get
grid.
use of it. We have to purchase it as usable
Yeah, it's contracted
by
power.
contract. That's correct.
Right.
So that's a misnomer. And when you add the same amount of load, you just in effect, you zeroed out the additional generation that has gone into the ERCOT grid.
P3 is also estimated that by 2030, the demand on the grid is going to double. That's what, 4 years?
Tuesday, Cook County commissioners were able to pass regulations to stop data center in Cook County. This just came out Tuesday.
Hood County.
Yeah, Cook County commissioners voted Tuesday about new regulations for data centers and set concept plans for redevelopment.
Which, if I'm Ms. McCarter, is that right? If I'm not wrong, that's very new, right? Thank you, because with in the last couple of weeks they made that attempt, and I believe it was Representative Phelan who sent out basically almost a threat of sorts that said, if you do this, these are the repercussions that will come. So I'm interested to dig into that and figure out what changed.
We'll keep digging on it. All right. That's all for the 391 Commission. I'll accept the motion to close out our public hearing and go into normal Commissioners Court.
I'm having a good time. We can keep it rolling.
Sure.
So moved.
Let's have a motion to do that.
Second.
In a second. All those in favor? Aye, that passes. And so we're now back in regular session. So our Commissioners Court, and the next thing on our agenda is public testimony. Welcome. Did you pay the bills?
Yep. Maggie said thank you as well.
I kind of been hogging your area over here. And I'll ask Joe Parker to come up and introduce our guest, and then we have one of our guests has volunteered to speak this morning. I had to twist her arm a little bit. Actually, you know what? Let me do this first. Mrs. Rexstrom, would you come on up? You want to speak now, or do you want to speak on the agenda item?
I don't know if it is or not. Can I speak now?
You sure can. Come on up. Yeah, I'm sorry, Joe. I forgot it. Mrs. Rexstrom said. I'm sorry. That's fine. You take this. You take your entire time.
Hi, I'm Marcia Rice, 4184, Devon 2324. And first of all, I want to congratulate everyone who was elected to serve us as county attorney, as commissioners. Listening to all this, anything I have to say is moot. It really doesn't amount to much. I appreciate y'all. You're going to need our prayers as we try to salvage our county from all of this that's happening. Mike Willis, I want to thank you for supporting Bernadette in her her list of nominees for the Library Advisory Board. We are a dedicated, committed group of people, and we will do our best. If you had not been physically walked into the library at the Better Beach Bud Center right now, she is doing amazing work. She and her staff, I'm so proud of them. They've come a long way. They've really revitalized the whole library. Hi, Jeremy.
Hi.
The handicap doors,
Yes.
are we still working on that?
Corey?
Corey?
It's a doctor problem.
You know, yes, but yes. Jeremy, I believe you and I had a conversation, and then I kind of passed that, gave you the free reign to do that, but we'll get back together on it.
Bernadette just received a grant for that.
There you go.
Yes, now. Yes, again, congratulations on us and Bernadette and y'all getting us money to make the public library accessible to the public with folks on wheelchairs, walkers, kinds. Okay. I know it's being addressed in an agenda item, fire hazards, the search for a fire marshal. If you, 47 from 2324 going towards Point, y'all make that drive and look at every property that looks like it's in tinderbox. Dry weather is coming, the heat's coming, and every year I keep going, it's this massive fire and there's nothing we can do about it. That could be stopped if these properties are forced to clean up. And I know it takes money for them. I definitely have to fix that. But that's not my problem. And I pray for y'all dealing with these problems with the batteries. It's a Secureville County. We need to keep it that way. Thank you, and God bless each and every one of you.
Thank you, ma'am. Someone call an ambulance. Jeremy got hit by a bus.
Give me a sec, I'll back up and do it again.
All right, come on up, Joe. You have to have fun up here. It's just.
Good morning. I'm Joe Parker, Ranch County Emergency Management Coordinator. And I have some ladies here, visitors today that I'd like to introduce you to. Miss Dusty Gonzalez, who will speak to you in just a second. She's our Med Health Coordinator, who is, they act as our public health advisors, coordinators for us, as well as Vivi McAllister is my counterpart in Van Zandt County. She's the emergency management coordinator there. And we collaborate a lot together. And Erin Jones, who is our TDM representative, Texas Division of Emergency Management. She is our county liaison officer. So Dusty, if you're new to this position, so we'll throw you under the bus a little bit. You've been around for a long time, but new to this position. So if you can just tell us a little bit about Med Health and how you work with the county, please.
Good morning, Judge Hilliard and Commissioners.
Good morning.
I came to you today just to introduce myself and let you know a little bit about what we do. I am the new Director for Public Health Emergency Preparedness with the Northeast Texas Public Health District. Our department was started after the 9/11 incidents and after the anthrax levels. Vicki and myself have both been with the department for 24 years, which is about the length of the department we started it. So we're the old timers there. We serve as your preparedness planners and coordinator for the county and anything involving the health of the public at large. We plan for points of dispensing, as if something like the measles, widespread measles outbreak happens, we can get the vaccine here and get it given to the people who need it. Or we respond to natural and man-made disasters. We work with the schools and local governments in response efforts. We have a disease surveillance department, which will investigate over 90 notifiable conditions such as Salmonella, pertussis, and Campylobacter. If one of your citizens is diagnosed with that, we'll be investigating it to see if there's a correlating cause, a restaurant, or just anything that has caused them to have that illness. Vicki is your county coordinator and is your local contact for Reynolds County, and she's here to help you with anything that you need. Thank you for your time today, and we're here to help you in any way we can.
Thank you.
Thank you. She didn't know she was going to speak. We're asking to speak since she showed up. I thought it was only fair to let you all know what they're here for and what they do. I have no other applicants for public session. Would anyone else want to fill out a form and come up and speak, or are we all caught up on speaking in open session? Caught up. All right. The next thing on our agenda is to hear a presentation from Sarah Latham. She's going to be presenting the certificates from the Judges and Commissioners Conference.
I think presentation is a little much.
Oh.
Actually, I'm just here to get the certifications for completion back in December. District 4 Judges and Commissioners Conference for Commissioner Willis, Commissioner Young, Commissioner Northcutt is not here. And so I do need to grab a picture because I think my boss has, since it's a District 4, he wants a picture of all the certificates.
I blame Lori for this because Lori started this certificate thing.
Yeah.
She started it.
So I'll hold on
Yeah.
to Lori's, and I'll make my way over to her office and get one with her. And I've got my mother here to take my pictures, or to take pictures for us. So yeah, we're all done.
You want to be in the pictures?
I do, but I didn't know. I didn't know.
I did not see that. What does it look like?
It's real fancy.
Oh, wow.
Real fancy.
Yeah.
Put it right next to the other one.
Here, let me get out of the way.
Harley wants to hold it.
Oh yeah. I'll
We'll do it for Harley.
Okay. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank you.
That's it.
Standing ovation, please.
I'm gonna say that's all the applause.
Next thing on our agenda is to consider the remaining items, excluding item number 1, which is accounts payable we've already voted on. For the consent agenda, is there a motion on this?
Move to approve.
Have a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. That passed unanimously?
Yes, it is.
All right. Discuss and take action to record continuing education units for Commissioner Northcutt, Willis, and Dr. Young.
So moved.
Have a motion to accept them in the record. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second that. All right, Mr. Willis, all those in favor? Aye. That passes unanimously. Discuss and take action to grant approval for the second annual golf ball drop at Heritage Park. Motion to
I moved that we approve.
motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Mrs. Carlisle came to me a week or so ago. This is something they've done before. It's for the veterans. And in that motion to approve, I would add that we waive the fees that we normally charge for the courthouse and the Heritage Center.
Okay. So I have a motion to approve the grant and waive the fees.
Yes.
All right. And is there a second on that?
Second.
All those in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
All those in favor of the original motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So both of those carry. Discuss and take action on passing a resolution to apply for the TLA funded by HEB grant, no match. Christy Hopkins, is there a motion to consider this?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Second.
Please proceed.
All right, this library grant, no match, $10,000. It'll be for summer programming. Bernadette can choose digital resources, greater access to books, reading materials, outreach efforts, community partnership, or innovative programming, or any combination.
Is this the one you said she could fix her door with?
No, this is a new one. She just received the grant for accessibility for $10,000.
Good.
Have we already voted to accept it?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks. I think that's what he was asking.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I move to pass the appropriate resolution to apply for this grant.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, aye. That passes unanimously. Thank you. Discuss and take action to approve overdue fine forgiveness month in May. Mrs. Bernadette Thompson will be presenting that. I make that in the form of a motion with subject to a better understanding of why we're doing it. So second?
Second.
2 seconds. Please proceed. Hello.
Bernadette Thompson, the librarian. So this is something that some other libraries do occasionally. I thought it would be really good and timely right now since we have changed leadership positions. So there's a little gap between when the previous director was here and then when I came on. And there's some period of time where maybe courtesy calls weren't being made for overdue books, or at least I don't have a record of that. And so I just would like to kind of start fresh and forgive fines for the month of May. Only overdue, so not anything that's damaged, not anything that's lost, but if they bring the items back, then we waive the late fines.
What's the grand total of overdue fines that we have right now?
So the total, including items that we've already gotten back, so that's the current overdues, and projected overdue fines, which are things that we haven't gotten back, but they will have a fine after they return it. And then also lost items that are marked lost, but maybe could possibly turn up and be brought back, is $4,217.50.
So this is something you inherited?
Yes, for the most part.
Okay. We've seen this in other departments.
Another thing to note.
They go back to like 22. I'm looking 22.
Yes, they go back pretty far.
2021. So that's right. 2018, 17.
Silver Springs Librarian, they do this every so often, and really only a small percentage of the overdue fines end up being waived. I mean, not everybody comes back to get those waived, but it's still, helpful for people to get them back in the library.
What's a good way for us to manage it moving forward to help have a monthly understanding of, is that?
We are doing things. So now we are more consistently making those phone calls to, check in with patrons and let them know that they have, overdue items. Also, we got a new text feature. So in the past, it was only sent to patrons' emails, and not everyone checks their email all the time. So now we have with our system a texting feature, so people get a text when their items are due the next day.
Yeah, that's good.
What could you do with $4,000 if we didn't waive the fees? If you did get $4,000 paid, is that a pretty significant amount of money for you?
It is, but my thought is we probably won't see those people again.
Yeah.
More than likely.
And so in business, right, at some point you start to assume the loss anyway, right? And then I think from your side of it, I know at my office, sometimes people owe me money and it makes them more hesitant to come back. And
Right.
right. So from your side of it, also, if we clear that out, people are more likely to say, okay, clean
Yes.
slate. Now let's come back and we'll start fresh. Right.
Especially as we're getting ready for our summer reading program, we really want, it's very important for that.
I move that we approve making the month of May an overdue fine forgiveness month.
I second that.
For just this year or every year hereafter?
Oh, just this year.
Oh, okay.
I won't be. I can't commit a future
I don't anticipate doing this every year.
future court.
It's more of a fresh start, clean slate.
Yes.
And it's easier for you to manage, right?
Yes, because, I mean, eventually I'll have to start sending out
I
letters
think
to
they already had that
people
as a
for
motion.
like things that are long overdue, things that are marked lost. And that's, you know, I wasn't around when those things were happening, so I don't know if we did our due diligence necessarily to reach out to them consistently before we got to that point.
I would probably imagine what's a collection rate on something like this after 7-8 years? Minimal.
Well, this looks pretty small compared to the JP's office.
So you also start at some point. You decide not to throw good money after bad, right?
Yeah.
Start paying to send out letters for money you're probably not going to get back.
So, yeah, I would just set up a good system
Yes,
that can be carried on as time moves on.
yes.
And I know you're going to do that because you're already making those changes in other areas. Well, it's already been voted on and seconded. So if there's no other discussion, all those in favor? Aye. That passes. And thank you for, let's see, we have one more here. Discuss and take action to accept an iPad donated by a community member to the library staff. Congratulations. I'll make that in the form of a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, any discussion on that? All those in favor? Aye. That passed unanimously. Oh, the one we've all been waiting for. Discuss and take action to assign office space in county buildings. Dr. Corey Young. I'll make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Second, let's discuss it.
I was really hoping Lori would be here for this. Because she has an opinion on most things, number one. Number two, I don't know. I personally feel like the discussion of moving offices has created a lot more issues than I ever imagined it would. I've had a couple people reach out with concerns of not wanting to move or wanting to move, what offices go to who. Quite frankly, I don't care. I don't. And so that's why when it was told to me that I should, or had the option to handle it myself, we'll pass it to the court to discuss.
All right.
Well, I want to stay where I am until I'm gone. And after that, whoever takes my place can go where they need to go.
Well, I'll throw the first one out since it's an easy one for me to discuss. I would like to get the court's approval today, along with everything else that we're doing, to be able to basically share offices between the JP's court, the JP office, the judge's office, Judge Franklin, and then also my office, so that we can both office out of the same offices from time to time, because we're going to use our staff to help the JP's office get caught up with all the caseloads that they have that are backlogged. And he'll need to be in my office sometimes to office in that office, and other times he'll need to be, I'll need a place to sit at. I'm maybe in my office maybe 25% of the time, but when I'm there, I need to have access to some computer, so I want to just be able to flip back and forth between the two. Nothing will change with respect to furniture, just two different logins and accesses. So that's what I'm going to do there. So when you make that, talk to the council about it. He thought I should get that approved since it's a minor change, but that was an easy one. Huh?
Yeah, I feel like you skirted that pretty well.
Yeah, and I already have approval from Judge Franklin.
I'm proud of you for taking on that huge, overwhelming task.
The other thing I would propose, since no one else is willing to step forward, is the sheriff's office has people piled on top of one another. And I was wondering if we would consider taking the two CID positions and moving them over where HR and our grant writers located, and then have those two people move over to the Hill building, or to the Alexander building, as the case may be. But they're doing CID work, which is sex crimes and things that need to have need to be separated out from where they're at currently, according to the sheriff. And I think it would help their department to have them closer to the building, but not necessarily in the Hill building, because that creates problems as well. So there's not another place to stick them that's just like totally isolated outside the sheriff's department.
I'm gonna tuck my jeans in my boots. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of this here. So questions, and the sheriff have a better answer than I will. So we'll probably call on him. But what does it take to secure that? Because what we did was, and I may be wrong. So here we go. We had to do some additional IT type of work in the Hill building for the constable, correct? So we already have a secured, what do we call it, network set up there. So I don't know what the costs are to do that when we just did it here. We have office space here where we could put a couple in the same office together where they're working together.
Sheriff, would that work?
Well,
It's this.
I think office space, but when you talk about the investigation you're doing, when you have a detective reviewing child porn cases, it's not something you want to go out to hear. When they're interviewing people coming in, they usually often come into the room with a bunch of different people, right? So they just do more, private, full time conversations. And I like to have them closer to the sheriff's office, so if they're doing interviews involving suspects, they're closer to them. Instead of having to drive over, it's kind of my plan. It's really just security of the type of cases they're investigating, more keeping a better eye on it, closer than having it further away, and who could have access to those areas of your mind.
And the security, the sound aspects of it still apply, even if they stay where they're at, even if they were in those two offices. We still have the issue of isolating the sound from traveling from office to office, because you have it's my understanding that the driver's license office can also hear everything that's going on in both of those offices, and vice versa.
It's definitely a challenge. I was asking about it, so there's some ideas I have.
Yeah.
The other side is, some of y'all may know, we've got at least two people in each office. And the sheriff's office to have some people that spread out.
Where do they interview people now?
Well, if it's a child, which I would move to the child access center.
Okay.
If it's an adult victim, they usually comes to the sheriff's office. And interview either in their office or they interview, depending on what the circumstances are.
So even then, we're talking about if we do something like that. I mean, just talking about privacy.
It's privacy, and also like if defense, they can use that as well. The office is open to having other employees in that one building, having other evidence to secure property or mitigate property or whatever. That's what I try to answer all those questions as we talk about the office space.
Yeah, I don't think in the sheriff's office everyone's more or less licensed to be there, right? So if you're penciling someone that's been molested or whatever in an office full of other people, I'm not sure how that would work. That's why I thought of these two offices here. But
yeah, what I thought is that this matters in about trying to have everybody involved, including the sheriff's office and other employees as well. We know that the sheriff's office is not plus any room in this case. I just know we're connected to that network over there by what Mr. Post told me. So it'd be hard for us to transition our computers and stuff over as well.
Do you remember how much it cost to do is it CGIS? Is that the?
To do the CGIS security, that's just a test we take, a class course we take to get CGIS certified.
What's the security, this mainline, whatever that's called?
Tammy, do you know what it cost us to make it where the constable could go into the new building?
A singular cost, no, off the top of my head, I do not know that.
But would their computers would still be accessed how? Would that be
through the network that Jeff Service says right over there.
That's already where. Over there, where's there?
Yeah, because the constable.
Which building's there?
Yeah, the constable's already there, so that makes sense.
Oh, I see it.
Makes sense.
I was referring to if they went into the HR.
It's really like,
So what needs to be done? I guess what I'm asking.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, if we have investigator over there investigating cases, people come and talk, what information is in those open investments, and I'm concerned with that makes sense.
But what computer data is necessary if they move into if two CID people move into the other? What do you call that building? Clark building. If two people move from the sheriff's department, the CID people, into the Clark building, what other computer infrastructure would be needed?
Well, you have it was trying to get the computer we bought the NCA grant to do the phone calls. That could be in there. Then you have the RMS, JMS, CAD system for the call service, and then there's investigator websites that use like Knophawk and some other stuff for phone notes as well. That could be advantageous to have there because it has a space to do those things.
The FBI search data.
Oh yeah, I mean, that
can that be put over there?
That comes from dispatch.
Oh, that comes from.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
They will have information with them. That makes sense.
Right, but so like in the Hill building, there's a computer room that has his FBI server in it that's locked. Is that necessary for the Clark building?
I don't think so. I think it would all just be a shared network. I don't understand what you're saying.
Okay. Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that. That's a good thing. Yeah. An idea there. Okay.
In a 30-second Google search, I found acoustic panels for $26 that maybe we could just put all along the offices in the Clark building.
Well, whoever stays there, in my opinion, those offices need to be buttoned up, regardless of who's there. We don't need to have someone doing driver's license stuff listening to HR issues or whatever else is going on. There needs to be, I mean, you can't stop all noise, but there's things you can do to cut down on it. I think Shane and I talked about just adding another layer of insulation on some of the areas to help with that.
I mean, I think it's bad enough for victims to come up to the sheriff's office and walk through dispatch, just to talk to our investigator. I think that's harmful enough for that victim to have to experience that itself.
Prancing down the hallway.
Yeah. Just having to come up to an office that's kind of secluded by itself is probably a little more peaceful than that.
And in that room, there's 3 people there right now. There's the two people, and then there's another one. Sealing it off is difficult.
How would you say, for instance, we move HR and grant writing out of that, and you have the 2 offices there? How would you set it up to be most efficient? Right? Would you put your 2 CIDs in the same office and then use the other as an interview?
It's possible. That's an option for us. We can put the 2 CID in that one office, and a lot of the interviews are doing homicide interviews, right? So it's like we're having a conversation now. So really, it's just a conversation we're having, getting more details, or say officer was at his initial statement, and we'll find more details about what actually happened. Because anytime a traumatic event happens, what you're getting on scene is going to change because their mind's still processing what happened. So we want those follow-up interviews. That way, we get more detailed information.
Are those recorded?
Yes, everything's recorded.
So there'd be a camera that would be installed.
Well, body cameras is where you can.
Body cameras, okay. Because I know, like, if they go into in that other room, that sounds like the jail door closing.
Yeah, and that camera system's old, and so we just rely on body cameras now.
Okay.
We do have a grant written from the interview at the sheriff's office for a camera system that will make things a lot better. And we will remodel that closet.
It's a good place to go bang your head against the wall, though.
Yeah, it is.
It's padded.
Yeah.
Well, that was one idea. I have more ideas. I've got done some more ideas.
Mr. Post said it would cost $500 or less to upgrade the Clark building to house the sheriff's office. IT-wise.
So I may have a little bit of an idea, Judge, and it may kind of align with you. And before anybody starts throwing stones, let me finish, and then we'll talk about it, okay?
Hey.
No, listen.
You didn't complain about me switching offices.
So no, I'm not mad at you for that. So an idea. Maybe I should scoot away from Tammy when I say this. So over there, we currently have we have at least 5 at least 5 offices. There's a sixth that is relatively large. The idea was to keep a bigger table in there in case we needed a kind of quiet conference area. But it is right here against the window, so it's kind of loud, meaning I don't know that someone would want it to be a permanent office all the time, and then we have a smaller office, and I mean small, probably 10 by 10. So not counting that one. 5 good ones, not counting the big loud one and a real small one. Thought might be, I know one of the using that word, one of the thoughts that Stacy at HR had at the time was there may come a time where I need help. Looking at it, if we did leave her in the Clark building, it's not a real easy flow. An idea might be is if we moved HR, grant, I'm trying to use names, grant writing, auditor, don't wrinkle those eyebrows yet, over here, it might help us delay having to add more help for a longer period of time. I think Stacy does a really good job. My only thing I don't like about it is sometimes we show up and you don't know who's in there. You don't know. I could be going in there to talk to Stacy, and there may be somebody in there with an HR complaint against me, right? Which could be awkward as well. And Stacy has to get up, come open the door, see who's there. Thought to me might be is if we moved auditor across the street.
I would need 2 offices because I have Abigail.
I'm going to get there too. When you walk in, there's an open foyer and then an open office space similar to what Abigail has now. And in which case she would still be do her regular duties for Tammy. She would also be able to, if I walked in and wanted to file a complaint against Jeremy, I could walk in and say, hey, I'd like to see Stacy. And when Abigail is there, she'd be able to say, well, Stacy's with someone right now. Would you have a seat? Kind of like she does for Mr. Harvey now currently as well. So if we moved auditor, HR, grant writing over there, that still leaves 2 more offices. I was hoping Lori was here.
Over to the Hill building.
Yes, to the Hill building here.
Hill building. Yep, there it is. Yep.
My other thought was Lori's, what we call it, a salon, a studio, whatever they call it, is just a couple doors down. That might be awfully convenient for her as well to be able to move over there. And then Mr. Jones or Mr. Christian, you don't get a say. So,
only Mike gets to say
yeah,
right now.
we'll leave Mike where he's at until his place is occupied, and then we move the new precinct 2 commissioner over there.
December the 31st, 2026 at midnight.
And not any sooner.
We better be gearing up a little quicker than that.
So Jeremy basically would get his old office back that I am in now.
That, or take Lori's in the back somewhere.
Is there any consideration to having the CID department in the annex building where the treasurer's at? We'd have 2 people there, then an interview room. And then we'd have law enforcement in the building. That's another idea. Sir? Yeah.
Where would treasurer, deputy treasurer go? I'm open.
I don't know. Casting all ideas. The only thing that I'm really firm on is just being able to switch offices with the 2 judges.
Only thing you really care about yours.
Yeah.
And I would just like to go ahead and point out that the reason that motor vehicle has not came up yet is all of that would have to be cleared with the state before y'all even thought about moving motor vehicle. So motor vehicle is not even an option.
Yeah, I'm not proposing that. And just so the public understands, this is the only way we can get this done. We can't do this
outside
the court. We can talk to 2 people about it. And that's just
two people can't talk about it.
2 people can talk about it, but that's just 2 people. And everyone has an opinion, and Lori's not here, so this is going to be easy today. She was on the agenda.
Repercussions.
Oh, how? Oh, you want to move?
Can I say something?
Where do you want to go?
Where do you want to go, Ronnie?
It makes sense to put the treasurer and the auditor in the same building, really. And then you have all the data and the uploading all that data.
I was thinking that same thing. It'd be good for them.
You've got a reception in the area that can help and float in those 2 or 3 compartments that you have in that one building.
Which building would you put them in?
Hill building. You're gonna put in
Okay.
your HR, your grant, your auditor. Go ahead and put your treasurer in that small office. Then you have your conference area.
Well, she has 2 people.
Okay, that's 2 people. She'll have it out in the conference area. And then you've got your 2 auditors, you got your treasurer, both of them related.
It's a powerhouse group.
Huh?
That's a powerhouse group.
And honestly, I work just as much with HR as I do the treasurer's office
Exactly.
as well.
So there's a lot of interaction within that one, and then you also have your grant writer that brings in funds. So guess where you got your treasurer and your auditor right there, all in the same house. So under the same roof, I'll say that. Just an idea.
And there's private parking in the rear of the building.
There you go.
How many parking spots are there?
3.
Yeah, so maybe four.
You'll get one.
Can we get double decker parking
We
back
need
there?
to vote on the parking too.
What I would really like, I know it's hard because you come up, a lot of times we come up with good ideas, but then when it's time to execute, you kind of look and go, right? I do not want to move offices again. Not me personally, I don't care. I work on a filing cabinet. But I don't want to shuffle everybody around just to figure out, hey, this doesn't work. We should reshuffle.
Well, if you don't want to do that, we should move the JP's office over there. Because we're going to be growing. As Rains County grows, we're going to run out of court space. We're going to need another JP's office for the JP, as time goes on. So it depends on how long you want that to go on to not move. But
Mike is going to kill me when I say this. I think we should all go look at it together.
Mike.
Today?
Oh, you mean can you do that, Mr. Ray?
You ought to.
Yes, you can go over there and look at it, you just can't talk with each other. If you do want to be able to talk with each other while you're looking, you need to file a notice of potential quorum or make it part of this meeting.
Right.
And
So we can carry everybody across the street and they can go with us.
You can.
There you go. Well,
just say that because you look at it and office size matters, right? And then if we talk about HR, grant, auditor, treasurer, deputy treasurer, I mean, they all need pretty good working space.
what about the librarian? Could we move her somewhere else? Just kidding.
I think she likes her little cubby hole over there.
She has some good digs over there. Well, we can do that. You want to have lunch and then go do it, or what do you want to do? I mean, as long as I get my thing, I'm good to go on that. Jeremy, what do you think?
My only request has been for 4 walls that go all the way to the ceiling.
And I don't mind one without walls that go to the ceiling. I'm claustrophobic.
I don't know if anybody's ever tried to do a conference call with other activity in the building, but normally I have to put in ear pods or earbuds to be able to listen to what's going on. And most people don't know or don't care, but if Lori, Corey, and Mike and I are in the same office and we can't get away from each other. We're not in there all together very often. It's usually just court morning, but there needs to be some separation, I think, of the commissioners, but I don't care personally where I go. I would like to have walls that go all the way to the ceiling. If that doesn't happen, if that can't happen, I'm all right with where I'm at. But,
okay.
I feel like it's just a lot of moving pieces. It's a lot of moving pieces.
I don't think we're going to decide today, except maybe take the judge's request and let him do that, and then revamp it. We might even have an agenda where we tour the facility. Would that be the
I'm good with that
agenda item?
We can go do that right now.
I don't want to do it right now.
Okay.
When is go live date next door? April 1st.
Flooring is getting installed on April 23rd, 24th. They have 2 days sitting there.
April or May?
March. March.
Yeah.
March 23rd, 24th.
So we have one more court that we could really have it pinned down.
And yes, the only problem I have is, and I don't know that it's a problem. I like if everybody sees it. So if everybody would just go look at it. The problem is if I've got an idea and you walk through it and you look at it all at the same time and talk about it, then I think it would flow a lot easier than the judge and I looking, you and Mike looking, and then coming back together and seeing purple or blue, So, but I'm good either way. Whatever you want to do. I'm not willing to make a decision until everybody has walked through it and said, "Hey, this is the best decision." So I like putting all them together, but then you start figuring out how do you situate that, and then if you do that, you don't separate commissioners at all.
Mm-hmm. I don't think we do that today, and it's not because I don't want to be around you guys any longer, but I just don't think you can do it without going and visualizing what's there. So I move that we approve the judge's request with the JP office and the county judge's office, and then address the rest of it at a later date.
Second. Any further discussion on that? You want to talk some more?
Third.
All those in favor? Aye. Got that done.
Ish.
We have quite a few more items, 12 more items. You want to keep going? You want to go to lunch?
Can we take care of Bernadette is here?
Yes, sir.
And she wouldn't have to come back. There's another one with her name on it.
Let's find Bernadette.
16. That way she can leave and go eat lunch and not come back.
Hey, can we do that? Let's just go ahead and knock out those plats. Those aren't big ones, are they?
No.
Can we do the plats and Bernadette?
Yeah.
Real quickly.
Which ones are those on? I'm looking.
The 12 and 13, 12, 13, 14, and 16.
13, 14, 16. Okay. We'll do Bernadette. We'll start from the bottom and go up. Discuss and take action regarding the most recent Library Advisory Board report. I'll make that from the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right.
You're on.
Bernadette again, librarian. So you asked for a report after our first library advisory board meeting, so I prepared a little statement for you. In response to the concerns about the Commissioner's Court regarding the library advisory board is taking steps to address these concerns with respect and sincerity. We want the public to be proud of our library and to view it in a positive light. However, we also maintain that we are a public library, and we are here to serve the informational, educational, cultural, and recreational needs of the entire community, not just one person, group, or political party. Our collections, as much as possible, reflect the community and its diversity of interests and viewpoints. There will inevitably be materials in the library with which you may not agree, but you are free to choose whether or not to view those materials. Furthermore, we differ greatly from school libraries in that the parent or guardian bears the responsibility of determining what his or her child checks out from the library. We believe this right belongs to the parent, and we will not act in loco parentis because it's not our job to judge what is appropriate for someone else's child. We catalog to the best of our knowledge the information that's at our disposal, knowing that we cannot possibly read every book that comes in cover to cover. The parent or guardian ultimately must choose to make decisions that are best for his or her family, and no juvenile is allowed a library card without an attached adult card to serve as the responsible party. All that being said, we are working on several things to make improvements for better serving our families. We did purchase the Common Sense Media subscription, which is going to be used to help staff when cataloging as a guide for where to place materials. That I had a little misunderstanding of what that was. It's not actually accessible to the public, so patrons cannot get on that, but we will be looking at it when we're putting the books out, and we will be labeling the books according to the recommended age ranges. And also it's free now because there's an educator version, so we switched to that version. It's now free. We've also updated and put in writing the process by which we address formal requests for reconsideration so that it's more streamlined. We have a review committee that's composed of board members and library staff who will voluntarily read the books in question cover to cover to make their evaluation. We are planning to subscribe to Junior Library Guild, which is a curated selection of juvenile and young adult books that are pre-approved by a renowned selection team. And the vast majority of these titles boast favorable professional reviews and awards. We are considering a reevaluation of our section divisions because young adult seems to be a term that's often misconstrued. We are looking to expand and maintain a middle grades section or a youth section that would kind of bridge the gap between younger readers and more mature readers. And then lastly, I'll be attending a collection development policy workshop in collaboration with other East Texas librarians to ensure our policy for selection is up to date and aligns to best practices, and that's going to be on March 23rd of this year.
Thank you.
I don't think there's anything we have to approve. We'll just accept that report into the minutes, and I'll make that motion.
Okay. Have a motion to accept the report into the minutes.
Second.
Second. Only discussion I would have on it is I thank you for what you've been doing. I know that we have some policies that Mr. Ray's reviewing, or not policies, but
Bylaws.
the bylaws
The
that
bylaws.
he's looking at.
Yeah, I was going to ask you.
Mr. Ray, have you finished looking at those bylaws for the library?
I did. They're fine.
They're fine. Okay. Well, there you go. So
Bring him and we'll approve.
wish I'd left that on there now. You never know because he's busy. But so that's good. So some good things going on, and thank you for what you've done.
Thank you, Bernadette.
Thank you. All those in favor? Aye, that passes unanimously. Going up to item number 12, discuss and take action to approve the final plat for CT Ranch situated in Bonifisa de Oceana, survey abstract number 179, Rains County, Texas. I'll make that in the form of a motion. Second.
This plat is on County Road 2300. It's just a 1.6 acre piece. Everything is received. Looks good to me. Can't remember if this was Byline or Tri-Point, but I will make a motion that we approve the final plat for CT Ranch.
You've already seconded it. I made the motion.
Yes.
So all those in favor? Aye. Discuss and take action to approve the replat of Lot 2, Alexander Estates, Rains County, Texas. You want to make the motion on that one?
I would like to make that motion.
Okay. Second.
All right, this is on Rains County Road 1278 and Private Road 5276. 2 lots, one 1.5 acres, one 2.9 acres. We've got everything. Looks good. Roads, blah, blah, blah. Move to approve.
All those in favor? Aye. That passes unanimously. Discuss and take action to approve replat of Lot 8, Oak Trails, being replatted as lots 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Ian Stinger survey, abstract 2, or A, which is abstract 223, Rains County, Texas. Commissioner Willis.
This is in the Oak Trails subdivision. It's combining 5 lots into one. It'll be called 8R, Lot 8R. And all of the documentation has been provided. I move we approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a second. Discussion. All those in favor? Aye. That passes unanimously. And then number 16, discuss and take action regarding the most recent library advisory board report, which
we just
did that. So we're good to go.
15.
15? No, he didn't say do 15 because you want to do 15?
I think that's one. I assume we'll probably
Do that.
have Mr. Race.
Do that after lunch. Can you stay till after lunch, Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Motion to adjourn until,
You should probably you can just enter the recess, yes?
recess this until 1:30?
Oh, can I ask that we eat faster?
Yeah.
I've got the 3 o'clock.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And it looks like we could be here for a long time after lunch.
Okay.
I'll even buy the pizza if we want to get pizza and work through at lunch.
Oh, you want to stay here?
I don't need to eat
I'm okay.
Plus, I can't afford it, so.
Okay, then we're gonna stay, and I'll take steak. I don't want pizza.
Does anybody need to go?
I'm good with whatever.
I'm all right.
I thought you were okay.
Okay, let's keep rolling. We discussed, just as a point of clarification, before we leave this item number 6, we tabled the move, the consideration for other offices other than the 2 that we voted on, which were for the judges and the JP, back and forth. So that was to be, if you go back and listen to that, I want it to be understood that was the intent of that motion. Was to do that. Does anyone disagree with that? No. Okay. Discuss and take action to approve an application and fee schedule associated with building permit and inspections. Dr. Corey Young.
Just call me Corey, please. So this is something that I know I've spoke with Miss Rogers about, and some of the other residents who live out close to the proposed battery storage site. We don't currently have a building permit, an application fee process for the county, and there are many counties that don't. In our efforts to, I won't say control the growth, but to be able to hold these buildings and commercial operations to a higher standard, I have been talking to the fire marshal down in Van Zant County quite a bit. Spoke to them again this morning. Judge Hilliard and I have spoken with another consultant that we'll discuss hereafter. And what this is you'll see the application. You'll also see the fee basis here attached to it. And what it does is this, they call it Van Zant County calls it a fire and life safety application. And it would be applicable to commercial properties and multifamily dwellings of 4 or greater that are outside of the city limits, but in the unincorporated portions of Rains County. The main aspect of this is there would be a permit fee for all new construction. You can see on the page that actually says building permit fees. It breaks it down based upon cost of the project itself. That would help, hopefully, not only help us control and maintain a high quality of buildings and safety of those buildings in the county, but also generate some type of funding back into the county so that we can try and better establish a department to control it. This came up, probably should have come up before, comes up now just in discussions with the battery storage project coming in as well, and knowing that the possible associated cost with doing this is really where Van Zant County has helped supplement the cost to really stay on top of these projects. And again, it comes up because of what we're going through right now, but I think it's a service that the county would benefit from and the residents would benefit from as well. So that's the building permit side of it. There's also on this checklist, there's other things. And I spoke with Van Zant County about it. So if you see the page, the front page here that has a list of costs varying between $75 and $450. So if I had a commercial business outside of Rains County, I sold the building to someone else who is then going to occupy, you would then have to pay a fee to have your building inspector, fire marshal, whoever we have in that office to come out and do a walkthrough and just check all the compliance issues to make sure that it's safe and up to the required compliance.
Is this a one-time fee or is this an annual?
Okay, it's the question I had to ask. So the building permit fee, which would in the packet that we have, the last 2 pages there, that's a one-time fee. And again, that's based off cost of project and then any additional reviews that need to be added in with that. The page there that you see of, like I said, the $75 to $450 range area, that would be if if I decided to occupy a commercial building outside of the city limits, inside the Rains County, I would then have to submit this application and pay that permit fee so that we could cover the cost of sending someone out to inspect it. Mr. Palmer down in Van Zandt County is who gave me this information. It's something they've been using for a while now. Spoke with him again this morning. It's been beneficial to the county. That way they know what's going in. I mean, it'd be similar to filing a permit for a septic system. It ensures that you know what's going in. It ensures that you can go out and do an inspection on it, make sure it's safe, make sure it's going to fall within compliance. And again, it's a way that allows us to have someone here, hopefully and specifically a fire marshal, in a way to help fund that department.
Have you asked Mr. Ray if all this is legal? I know Van Zandt County's doing it, but do we actually, sometimes counties do things that aren't legal.
I have not.
These are all definitely legal.
Okay.
The other counties I work with have the same, they're not the same dollar amounts of fees, but the county definitely has authority to do that.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
So I will do this. Let's do this. I will make a motion. I will make a motion that we approve the application and fee schedule associated with the building permits and inspections. I would like a second, and then we can see if anybody has any extra feedback on it.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. What, any other discussion? When you say the building fees, don't you mean all of it? The fire marshal office fee schedule too, or no?
It's all the same. It's the application and associated fee schedule.
So it's all, everything that's attached to this item?
Yes.
I
Okay.
guess my question would be are we trying to approve this today?
Yes.
Yeah. If we approve it today, who's going to handle it?
I guess Corey will.
Well, we don't have to approve it today. My hopes is that we were going to have that also taken care of today, and we may not.
Mm-hmm.
So if we need to hold off and move this to the end until we look at other items,
Well,
I'm certainly good with that as well.
we can approve it today and have it implemented.
Anytime.
How do we do that?
If you, I mean, if there is a chance with these other items where you're going to approve the infrastructure necessary to have those inspections done, you should probably do that first. The illegal effect of approving this now and then not doing it later is that nobody's going to have to pay those fees because you don't have a way to accept them or get the services to go along with it. And so everything will basically default to state law, and those fees wouldn't be owed to the county.
Well, can we approve it subject to the other items being approved?
No.
No. So we need to.
You need to do, it makes sense to do the other items.
Other items first, okay.
Needs
So,
then a motion or second, it needs to basically fail.
yeah, so all those in favor of proceeding with the motion that's currently on the table, raise your hands. That motion fails. I'll always come back to it later. So which one do we want to do next? Just to make sure I have this in the right order.
No, can I ask a question real quick?
Yep.
Hey, can we? Is there anything else we can knock out before we consider going into an executive session?
Number 11.
Because I do have questions about 9.
Number 11 for motor vehicle. She would like to have been here. She's possibly at lunch now, but I can give you the explanation on the motor vehicle. Okay.
Okay, discuss and take action on providing funds for the seminars for the motor vehicle department. tax assessor and collector Nicole York.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a second. All those in favor?
Let's hear it.
Okay.
Let's have a discussion.
Okay. As y'all know that, Ms. York got appointed middle of summer, probably like right before you were appointed, sir. And there was not time for her to get certain education. So she and her deputy have went this fiscal year. Well, unfortunately, she needs some more hours. And they've also found that the deputy, clerk should also have these hours of training. So she is currently, zero budget on her, seminars and training right now. So this amount, if approved, would need to come from the contingency line item. We have $500,000 budgeted in contingency for such emergencies as this.
Okay.
She does not have anywhere else she can pull it from because she's been fully staffed and plans to be fully staffed.
I would like to amend my motion, right, to approve providing funds for seminars for the motor vehicle department tax assessor collector to be taken from contingency.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor of amending the motion to come from contingency, raise your hands. Aye. That passes unanimously. Now, a motion to approve it. Aye. So both of those items pass.
Thank you.
Sir.
He's trying to get me to raise my right hand.
Any other ones you want to hit beforehand? Handicap parking, smoke-free building. Sure.
So I just had a quick conversation with Mandy. Would you like to discuss or give us some information on 17? The creating a handicap parking spot with a ramp to annex building.
Yeah, I think you and I talked about it before. The reserved parking spot on the very end closest to the election. Just taking that sign down and putting up a handicap and just adding a handicap spot for extra. And then we and I talked about the other day about the front doors in the building. And I know we have a ramp or kind of like an addition ramp over there by elections for wheelchair bound or walker bound. But I think we should have something additional on the front doors as well. Because it's difficult for them to get around that door opening outwards without coming too close to the edge of that curb and moving. The door does not come out. When it comes out, it only comes out to a certain angle. I'm pretty sure it's not 90 degree out. It doesn't come out far enough to where they can go around and come in without being on the edge of that curb.
What did you say that current parking spot is now?
Oh, on the very end.
You have one. You just want to convert to a handicap parking.
I just think there should be an additional, especially on court days or adoption days. You know, there's a lot of folks that show up.
I'll make a motion that we create a handicap parking spot at the annex building.
Are we only required to have one?
I bet you depends on the.
What's the requirement for handicap spots?
That's regulated by a group called TDLR, Department of Licensing and Regulation. It's based on the number of the activity of the location and the number of other parking spots. And it's very different. It's not what you might think would be logical. It's complicated. I don't know how big that parking lot is.
It's not super big.
Do we have any handicap parking there currently?
No.
On the election side.
Election side there is.
Oh, election side. Yeah.
On the election side of the building, yes. I think there's two.
Should we make the motion then if we're going to do it to comply with whatever the law says for the number of handicap spots that are required?
So what I was going to do is just go ahead and motion that we go ahead and convert that one to a handicap spot, and then I'll figure out how many we need, and then also look at. She was worried about the outward flow of the doors, and then an additional ramp.
Okay.
I'll get some numbers and come back.
And I know that's like you said, that's ADA compliant.
Mhm.
But that door is also very heavy. You know, if you think about somebody in a wheelchair without, if they come along without help, most people have help. They can get into that door safely and, you know, without it shutting on or, I don't know, I've seen that a lot, that's all.
Yeah. It would also have to have an inspection, you know, so your plans would need to be submitted and approved even before you can start doing anything.
That's why I'd like to motion that we go ahead and convert that one to a handicap spot, and then I will do the research and get the permitting and stuff required for the additional stuff.
There is $25,000 in capital improvements for building improvements in the maintenance. What we have it classified under the maintenance department.
And I've also talked to Christie about reaching out for a grant as well, if there's any available.
Is that going to work for you?
Yeah, probably the right motion for what you're trying to get done is to vote to move in that direction, including filing all of the things necessary with the TDLR or the other state agencies that might be involved. And then that will give you, aim to potentially at least look into applying for a grant for that. And then you'll know in time for upcoming meetings what other funds need to be extended, so you can come back for a second vote on what part of the budget that's going to come out of.
Did you get all that?
And you can just say, I make that my motion.
I'll make that my motion.
I second it. Any discussion?
Corey, I've got the name of the people that came and inspected the Clark building.
Okay.
They come out of Longview to give you the stamp of approval on handicap.
All those in favor? Aye. That passes unanimously for those that are here. Discuss and take action to make the annex building a smoke-free property. Pardon? No. Who smokes in it?
Oh,
That's,
no, you can't say that.
Shouldn't talk about that.
Oh.
I do know that law.
All right, well, I'll make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Second, discussion. All in favor, aye. That passes again unanimously. And we're down to the road agreement. Oh, we're gonna work through lunch, aren't we? No, you wanna go into executive session?
Can we?
Yeah. Mr. Finn.
We can go ahead and approve the road agreement, can't we?
We could.
Did Mr. Ray look at
When
that?
you go to executive session, you should read the specific items that you're going under, and then say which parts of the agenda that you're going to discuss in executive.
Yeah, which would be personnel matters. We want to go into executive session for the fire marshal part of it.
That would be under attorney, constitutional attorney, 55107.
We want to do the road agreement first. Or no? He's already looked at it.
As long as he's looked at it.
So we have discuss and take action to approve the road damage agreement and resolution policy regarding same and all related issues.
And that's been reviewed by you.
Well, I think there's two different ones. I sent in one that I think is in your packet based on what the judge showed me, which is it's a 4-page document. The first page says resolution, and that adopts a policy. And then there's, I think, a second agreement. I'm just not sure if that was intended to be part of number 15. That there's a road damage agreement with a company that's already here. But I'm not sure what's in your packet. We can discuss both under the language of number 15.
Mr. Ray, are you discussing the one that the judge and I sent to you?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yes.
So in full disclosure to everyone that's here, right? One of the things, it was the battery project guys.
Yes.
That's who that came from. That was a road use agreement sent to us from them, and his request was look through this, do whatever redlining you need to do. What they're wanting is to try and get a road use agreement established. I have not done this with a specific company before, so I don't know if we take theirs and work through it, or if we can have our own and say, no, this is what we want. Now you redline it, or I don't know.
Yeah.
That's why I believe we had it sent to you.
Well, actually, I don't think that one's on the agenda anyway. The one that's on the agenda is the one that Lori submitted.
But you said we could. I mean, it's a.
If there's a road damage agreement, and that one is,
Then
we can vote on it under this section.
Under this one.
What you got, I mean, it's expanded language though, to adopt a policy regarding the same. The policy is the other 3 pages of that document that's in your packet. And that goes over a lot of different requirements. It is different from both of those other road agreements because those were drafted by the companies trying to put them in place. So if you adopted the policy first, then those 2 agreements would need to be amended for insurance purposes and the method of compliance and all that other stuff.
So today we just need to adopt the policy.
Well, you could adopt the policy and you could
Later
either
do
cut on the agreements themselves, or you could approve those subject to making sure that they comply with the policy and give the county judge authority to do that, or you could just bring it back for another meeting. Or if there's a timing issue, you can call a special session between now and the meeting.
I don't think there's any timing thing about it.
On Lori's is who is this one? Okay. Whatever y'all want to do in that.
So, Mr. Ray, tell me again. You lost me in somewhere along the way.
Yeah.
So the one they sent that we sent to you from them is that's theirs and specific for this. That one. The one we're seeing here, the one that's actually called a special use and maintenance agreement that we have in our packet from Commissioner Northcutt. Do those 2 work together? Do we have to have this one to have the other?
No. So the thing that you're talking about that has that special use, I drafted that.
Okay.
And that is based on the ones that I've done for other counties and some updates with new laws, and then strengthening it based on what I suspect are going to be the 2 first to develop parts of the county. Basically everything that direction, west and south, and potentially to the north. So what this does, if you adopt it, is basically adopt that as a general policy. And so the first page of that is just a resolution where you adopt it as the basis for road use agreements in the future. But you're not with this court nor the people who come after you are going to be required to use just those items or even all the items that are on that proposed special use document. It's a guide document, and it's mostly made so that all of the construction that's going to happen here over the next 10 years, people who are coming in from the outside can look at that, evaluate it to determine what impact it's going to have on the bottom line, to determine whether they even want to buy land here in the first place. Is to make sure that the cart is before the horse on cost issues, which is all the developers are looking at anyway.
So this is like a baseline policy.
Exactly.
And then any special road use agreements beyond that, we can tailor.
That's correct.
So
you don't even have to have the special use policies. It just, it's necessary to keep your current taxpayers from paying for to pad the bottom line of outside developers.
But in the situation specifically with the one we sent you, this would be our basic policy, and then we'd work through that one as well.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
I'd rather approve this policy the way that it's submitted and then go into executive session and look at doing the other road use policy after we determine what we're going to do on the fire side of it. Okay. Is that good? Are you okay with that? I make a motion to approve this document that's been submitted for the county to use going forward as our baseline policy. Second. 2 seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye. That passes unanimously.
Judge, could I, well, let's see where you end up next.
Overtime?
I was gonna say, we've got folks here that are gonna be a part of that conversation.
Oh, okay.
Let's knock that one out.
All right, discuss and take action on the county policy regarding payment of overtime versus comp time. Mr. Jeremy Cook. Is that in the form of a motion?
Yes, sir.
Jeremy, I said the motion, and I'll second it. Let's talk about it.
All right, so here's the story. Rains County employee works 1 hour overtime. Well, you've been working on this for years. Come on, you give us the breakdown.
Chief Deputy Home Rains County Sheriff's Office.
Also, before you go off of memory, I just want to make sure that we're not going to go off of memory because we don't want any more Michael Morton Brady stuff going, right? So if you don't know, you don't know.
Got it.
Speaking generalizations. Can you give us a background of why this is on the agenda?
Sure. The scenario that I gave you, well, you and I were talking the other day, was a couple weeks ago, one of our officers had a family emergency, 8:30 Saturday morning. He leaves one deputy in the county. I made a call to dispatch, say whoever else is in the county, sit with our deputies, so we have at least 2 on the calls. They tell me nobody else is in the county. So we literally have one deputy in the county. So try to get somebody coming in at 8:30 on Saturday morning is pretty difficult. So those are one issues that we have. And of course, right now we just pay comp time, or it just goes into comp time. This is not an exact figure. This is a rough guesstimate of what the numbers I looked at this morning. We have approximately, more than 1,200 hours of comp time on the books for just deputies. But the issue is that it's hard to get people to come in. We're still fighting for just getting enough people on the streets. And when it only goes to comp time, it's just a struggle. And then when you look at the second part of that, is the cost. It costs us more money for it. It costs the county significantly more money to do comp time versus overtime.
All right, so for the regular folks, if somebody works overtime in the sheriff's office, they get comp time. They don't get paid. They just get future time off.
That's just deputies and jailers, so.
Yeah, this conversation just includes commissioned deputies because that's what I'm responsible for.
Yep.
So we are still not commissioned deputies. Yeah, if they work more than 86 hours, it goes into comp time, which goes into a bank.
And we struggle because we've been short-staffed. So if I'm deputy cook and I've got comp time and I want to take my comp time, I can't take my comp time unless I get somebody to cover for me, right?
Correct.
And we probably don't have somebody to cover for them. So I don't get money for working overtime. So there's no incentive for me to really work overtime. There's no incentive for me to accrue comp time that I can't take. So we end up paying it out in one chunk when maybe a disgruntled employee leaves and they're like, I don't have enough money. I can't take time off. So I gotta go.
That is correct. I believe this week we have 4 people on nights, 2 on each end of the shifts, right? So this one week somebody took off. I've got one deputy working just straight 7 days. So how much comp time? She doesn't want to do it, but she's literally we have no choice to get the shift covered. So she's just getting straight comp. So we're trying to burn this guy wants off. Everybody deserves to be off. They have time. We just don't have enough people to cover it.
And from the folks who control the budget and write the checks, whether we pay them comp time today, overtime today, or comp time next week or next year, our exposure is if Deputy A gets a raise between now and when they get their comp time paid out, we could have to actually pay more for it than we would just by paying for overtime today.
Pay him his current rate. We pay him his current rate, not his rate at which he achieves comp.
A good example that we had 2 of our jailers go to Gatineau, police officers, so they carried over the comp time over to jail rate. Patrol rate. Now, they leave for whatever happens, they're going to get paid patrollers out there however many years ago.
So you're talking about probably at least, it could be $10 more an hour. Let's say Jailer A, who is now a deputy, has 300 hours of comp. He didn't earn that while he's been a deputy. because he hasn't been on deputy long enough. But now, when he goes to cash that out, he's cashing out at a higher rate. So the challenges are, one, it's hard to get people to come in and cover. Well, on the Saturday that I'm talking about, the sheriff ends up covering. Because it is very hard to get people to come in when you're like, well, you're not going to make it down more, but you're going to get comp time that you can't do.
Yep. So,
And the other thing is too, is the other night, we had a pretty good animal attack. We had to send one deputy to the hospital, do the investigation, take pictures, interview, all that stuff. So we ended up coming back in to work the night shift because we can't have one deputy in the county.
Yeah, I can't get a conscious stay at my house when I got my deputy here, so I work here today. Went home to eat dinner, and my wife had to get up, and I come in for it. Just to have two people in the streets.
as a pretty conservative guy, like I like to pay my bills. If we pay the overtime when it's due, it's done. If we've got this comp time balance out there kind of rolling around, it doesn't sit well with me. Plus, just the morale aspect. We're asking these guys and these gals to work over. They work over, but they don't get paid. They just get a day off in the future, and maybe, but probably not.
So just right now, we have more than 12 hours, 1,200 hours of comp time sitting on the book for just deputies, and probably only, unless you're in investigations or admin, you may not, it's hard to take off. It just is.
From our side of it also, I'm anticipating questions, but how do we budget this? How do we know exactly how much we're going to be spending? And shame on me, we've never budgeted comp time. You just keep racking the cash register, and we haven't allotted for that. So
We'll have to start somewhere, but again, overtime this week, I got a deputy that's probably earning, let's say she worked 3 days this week, that's 36 hours of comp time insurance to try to cover somebody, so it's 36 hours, right? So either way, it's costing us. We pretty much, we have to do the best job we can do to manage it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't benefit the county by kicking the can down the road, because we don't have surplus officers. We have 2 officers a shift, minimum's 2, and even at that's not enough, but for the officer safety and to serve the citizens adequately. So I don't know, we did really get a number you have to pick, but the cost of everything is high.
Also, it's the balance to the patrol line too. You know, they have vacation, a lot of them tapped up on vacation because they can't get off to take the vacation, right? So they need time off to get away from things too, right? So I think to take that cost away from some future is if we had 3 per shift, which once we get the people trained, everything will happen on our shift. Pretty soon everything stays like it is now. Those people will have number 2. Those people can work together in vacations, time off, and so have 2 per shift right now. And that's how we save the county money by paying for 3 per shift to take away from that unnecessary overtime situation.
Depends on how many deputies there are.
Got it.
Sheriff, I have a question that people have asked, and I've asked you this 10 times probably. I can never remember it. And it changes. How many deputies do you currently have right now?
Currently have or currently spots.
Let's do both.
17 total spots, and we just got our last spot hired. When I say hired, it's one of our deputies going to the academy. He starts later this month. So we are tapped out right now at 17.
So right now you have 16 active deputies.
Well, we got another guy starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
Which I be in training.
So as of tomorrow, you'll have 16
We'll have
active deputies.
16, but it's going through the training process.
And we have 1 in the academy. So we have 1 going to the academy, 1 actually in the academy, 1 about to start.
Yeah, 1 getting out of the academy in late March.
So how many deputies do you currently have in vehicles right now running
You have 2
business?
on nights, 2 on days on each end of the week.
14?
That'd be 8.
Yeah, 2, 4, 8. That's 8 on patrol. The rest is assorted through whatever it is, House Bill 22, House Bill 33, investigations,
We have 1 investigator that's paid from the county, and the other investigator is paid by the MCA.
80%, 83.33. So there's still 16-something% county.
Well, there's not, there aren't, the only parked vehicle would be the van that I saw loaded up yesterday, right? Is that included? So there's that van.
No, we have the
truck.
old Ford Explorer that Mr. Christian used to drive.
Right, and then the drum truck.
Yeah.
What I call the drum truck. Is it?
No, that truck is going to another deputy who's in drone school as we speak right now.
Okay, so there's only one potential vehicle that's parked.
And the reason we want it to be a drone pilot, because to put the inverter and everything, we had to pay to get that in that vehicle for that drone pilot. It'd be about $3,500 to get that replaced on the vehicle. So we just figured it simple just to keep it in one vehicle.
Yeah.
But we have one vehicle available, let's say right now. I have 2 cars that need to go into the shop Monday. So I've got it Monday, I'll put them into Jerry's old car.
It's a full vehicle. We need at least one of those.
Well, my question is, how will it, I was asking Tammy if we knew what period of time this was over, but how will we manage the, there's this overtime creep, or like, how do we manage how do we keep the cost down to where, because if we take it off the balance sheet, which is where it's on currently, we put it on an income statement. Now we're trying to manage to a budget. And I don't want to look up, how do we end up at the end of the year and say, well, gosh, we don't have any more money in our budget to pay
Absolutely.
to a deputy because of X.
And when that got brought up in our conversation, that's my concern too. I feel like it's a budgetary conversation. But at the same time, I feel it's important that we do this the most we can for our employees that are working for us and that are actually doing the job.
Right. So what would be the budget number is what I'm asking. Like, if this is it's 100
Total 116,000.
116,000, but we don't know.
That's the total for the sheriff. That's the total for the jail.
It looks like a lot of it's jail.
And that's with benefits. My calculations have benefits in them.
So, but we don't know how far it goes back. I'm just wondering, just from a budgetary standpoint, would the budget number be $20,000 a year of overtime for the jail, 20,000 or 10,000?
Well, it's a double-edged sword, really. So if you vote on paying us overtime, let's say we have a major incident, let's say God forbid we have murder, that's going to be all hands on deck on the situation, right?
Yeah.
So how do you budget for that situation? We don't know how much it's going to take, which manpower's going to be going to take.
Right.
One shift come and work day shift and then finish up night shift. It's hard to budget those kind of things, right?
I agree.
So what we're talking about budgeting for, and it's probably specific when y'all vote on it, is just for covering shifts, covering classes, because we had taser training this week too. So we had to cover shifts for people who are taser training. We'd like to get into a lot more trainings, but when we do, it creates more budget.
So does there need to be? Would there need to be 2 policies in one that says we're going to implant this past money, and then actually maybe 3. Then moving forward, there would be a policy for when you can actually earn overtime for certain types of activities.
And we've seen the tricks. When we came from 40 saw tricks. When 40 went from where we're at now to overtime, I mean, you'd have guys say, hey, you work for me today, I'll work for you next week. That way you get overtime. We've seen those tricks. So
Right.
We know the policy that if you get a call at 8 o'clock in the morning, you wait till 5:30 to start your report, you're not getting overtime for it. You had all day.
Yeah.
Unless you could say you were truly busy. That's different. We've seen all those tricks. So there'll be policies that would be enforced like anything else. As in we have to approve it. If we don't think it meets the approval, they don't get it. You get comp time.
So does there need to be 2? Is it already in place then, or would there need to be?
It's not in place right now. It would have to be.
We need to write that up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would highly suggest in budget time, we sit down and have a budget workshop just on this conversation and look at all the angles so we can all be honest about it, see from our perspective, county perspective, and involve.
Is there a limit to the hours of comp time that can be accumulated?
Yes.
80, I think, 460.
480 for law enforcement, 240 for.
So whenever they get to that 480, it's overtime then.
Yes.
Since I've been here roughly 16 months. I know we partially get paid one time, but since I've been here a year and a half, we've not fully paid that.
I think that's possible.
Yeah. So I know it's 18 months, we've only partially paid one time.
Kind of clear books a little.
Yeah, just a little, and it was during some critical period that we had. We paid some people some. So that stuff can sit on the books. It's at a minimum roughly earning 5% interest a year to sit on it. But that ain't count all the jailers. The jailer was over 200 hours, he's making 15, and now he's making 25. It's a lot of money.
So I guys haven't invested in that
I've played the game before.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Is there a different way to skin the cat?
No.
No.
it's just overtime, it's just the price of doing business. It's just the price of doing business.
And the other thing you have to remember is when we were, this is the paying scenario. If somebody is out and we're paying overtime, we're budgeted at one, single hour, but we're going to pay somebody an hour and a half for every hour they work. So it's not that you can even totally use unused salary, because it still costs you more to pay overtime than it does for a replacement. So even if you have unpaid salaries, those people are still working, would be getting paid time and a half for somebody that's budgeted at single time.
Yeah, and it'd take a lot of stress off people. If we had 3 people shift, that would take a lot of stress off people.
And never said the kind of money. If we have people shift and minimum 2, they work on their shift, they can take the time off and they call the sick, we're not scrambling to do it. And that's what we said the kind of money.
We think it would.
But it'll be a closer set number than what we're doing right now.
It would be
Because right now,
healthy, it would be healthy for everybody involved.
Yeah.
Including.
it's just the cost of doing business. We're going to pay either comp time will turn in, whatever percentage, but we have to get streets covered. It's just.
And y'all are not legally required to do this. We're under the population threshold. We don't have to, but it's something y'all think about to save the county taxpayers money. That's what we're thinking about. That's how we save the taxpayers money.
What's the part that we're not legally required to do?
Pay overtime at $36.
Oh, I see.
$36.
You're talking about from 80 to 86. Yeah.
No, that would be.
That's no.
And y'all can still make it 86. They'll get overtime till after 86 hours.
Okay.
I talked to Stacy, and I was just asking her because she deals with all this stuff. I was like, "Will this make your life easier?" And keeping track of the comp time is one additional pain in her neck. Documenting it. Or if it was just, and like I said, I'm a simple man. I'd rather just get it, pay it, be done with it. But I don't understand everything as well as Tammy does. And
they wrote that song about you.
Yes. Yeah. There you go.
Well, I think Jeremy would still have the overtime, wouldn't we? I mean the comp time.
You'd still have to have some comp time.
Yeah. Because we won't be able to write a budget for all the what ifs. I mean,
there's no way.
Every time you turn around, when I'm up there magistrating or whatever, there's a what if going on.
Mm-hmm.
Or didn't know that was coming.
Well, just this week, right? Just in the last few days, we had the person get mauled, and the deputies called me at 6 o'clock in the evening, 6:30. I'm like, hey, they got flown Tyler, you need to go. And so again, there's nothing we can do about that. Ultimately, instead of putting a burden on somebody else and begging somebody to come in, I just came in. I'm on salary, but I just come in and get streets covered because we need people here. And the sheriff has done the same. So we're doing what we can to try to keep people on the streets.
And you've done a good job of keeping them on the streets too. I've actually heard people complimenting the sheriff's department on that.
Yeah. But we don't want to burn our people out either, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm most concerned about. You've seen how hard it is to find a deputy.
You're preaching to the choir. We've been working on it for 3 months.
Yeah. Once we get them, I would like to make sure we keep them for a while because it's so expensive for them to leave. New uniforms, new whatever.
New vest, training.
Yes.
Paying out the comp time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what we can do today, but I would just like it. Can we say, let's pay overtime starting today versus accruing comp time?
We don't have the budget for it right now. You'd have to take that in contingency.
But we're going to pay it eventually anyway. If somebody leaves today, where do we take the money from? Contingency?
Towards the end of the year, especially with the sheriff's department and the jail. When I say sheriff's department, most of the time I'm including both departments there, even though we haven't separated out on the books. It would, at the end of the year, we'd have to look at their overall budget and see what they have left. But if they were needing additional budgetary authority in the salary, it would have to come out of contingency. There is only $50,000 in the contingency line item for payroll and personnel. And we usually end up having to use that.
As our overtime budget?
Yes.
Gotcha. Can you hit a button and see how much unused salary they have for positions?
I would have to calculate it out because you have to remember I do payroll accruals at the end of the year and everything. So
And there's no other contingency line item to take it out of?
just the regular contingency line item. And then we have the emergency reserve contingency line item. But that's our fund balance, so we try not to touch that one.
Do you know what those are? I don't know off the top of my head what those are. She does.
Yeah.
$500,000 on our regular maintenance and operation reserve, $1 million on emergency.
Mike, you've been, you just admitted, I don't know if anybody could hear in the microphone, that you've kind of worked the system before as a fireman.
We're going to delete that up the recording.
What would you say?
I don't think you ever get away from it. And I know the older you get and the closer you get to retirement, I guarantee if the sheriff could earn overtime, I mean, comp time, he wouldn't want to use it. He'd want you to pay him for it when he leaves. I don't know where people are on the.
No, I would feel the same way for me. I just let it earn at least 5% interest a year, right? With the pay raise. So for me, but for the most of them who are younger who have families, could use that money now. So in the city, I could, if I earned 10 hours of overtime, it was my choice whether I used it as comp or overtime. So I think some here, maybe I'll cash some here. It just depends. But if I know I'm leaving, I don't need the money, I'm just going to bank it. You know, when I left Forney, they had to cut me a check of the city of Forney, they had to cut me a check for $40,000, right? So for unused sick time, and that's where we're at. I mean, they're going to pay. So either way, so for some people, you would bank it, but I think because we have a young department, they really need that cash now.
And get the streets covered. What
Yeah.
our concern is.
Yeah.
Saving the taxpayers money in the long term. It was a conversation we had this budget year about trying to get readership so we can limit some of that cost of gas. So that's the whole.
You know, we're how many months? We're not many months away from new budget. What, 5 months?
We've already been working on our side of things.
I think it's a good thing to address in budget time. I don't know what you do in the meantime. Just manage it the best you can.
That's all we can do.
But it is a budgetary. I mean, it's talking about money.
But like you said, when I worked in Forney, if I worked a bunch of comp time and I got paid for it, I would look at my taxes and see how much the least tax was going to affect it. Put that on my check.
When I left Tyler, I had to max comp time and sick time.
Yeah.
I maxed everything I could
That's a good
when
retirement.
I left.
I would like to state that the county does not pay sick time balances though, so municipalities do handle things differently.
Yeah, you get ready to retire, you just get a little sick before you retire.
So are we able to say that one group of people would receive overtime and one group wouldn't? So like patrol people would receive overtime and then another group wouldn't receive overtime? Is that legal?
You can do that, but that needs to be part of an policy.
Yeah.
And the things that you're talking about now, with the recent legislative changes that took effect last year, it gets into a dangerous situation because the legislature changed the law, tweaked the law in a real, the way that didn't really get a lot of attention, but for some budgetary decisions that counties used to routinely make in the middle of the budget year, now it triggers requirements that require you to do the entire budgetary process over again in the middle of the year, just to make a small change. I don't know for sure if this is one of those areas, but it's awfully close. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about, all the new changes that I don't know if this is one of those changes or not. But if it is, then you can't make that decision today. Especially when you're talking about moving things from a contingency into a different part of the budget. I mean, I can certainly research that, and we can come back and talk about that more at the next meeting.
Okay.
You can, pick a general direction today, and certainly you can address all of that, but the policy on separation between different job descriptions for comp time versus overtime, and then address the funding of it at budget time. But as you all know, that's a 3-month-long, minimum 3-month-long process because of the way that all the different requirements that come there now. you may be able to, I understand what you're trying to do is make sure that there's money for, to ensure that, especially the younger officers who need money now, or deputies, get access to that immediately, because obviously there's a hiring market issue, millions of people moving to Texas, and you need to retain the people that you've got now and make sure that they don't leave because they're unhappy. I just don't know if moving things from the emergency contingency over would automatically trigger that requirement. The issue of comp time versus overtime is a lot easier than the very complicated rules that the legislature adopted last September, or that became effective last September.
Okay, I mean, I already know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it and you answer it for everyone because I've told everyone else. The sheriff was saying we could save money if we had more positions, but that same thing you're speaking to, that same legislative change would limit our ability to add more positions that aren't already in our
100%. Yes.
And when I said that, I meant budget time.
Yeah, I just wanted to be sure that we understood it, the leadership here.
Yeah, that's the
I think
red line
probably
that does require all of those applications over again, and that complicated
So we're in a
4-page packet of public disclosure information.
So your hands are kind of tied right now, honestly. You start working on policy, you can start to have these conversations, but really to implement change, it's going to be a budgetary time.
Do we want him to investigate that other part of it?
Yeah.
Sure. They're going to do
Yeah, I can look at that, and then potentially, if that doesn't automatically trigger a budget refiling, republication, readoption, then you could potentially adopt that policy, separating those two, I guess, sets of job descriptions, and it would be, an easy move for some budgetary authority in between now and October 1st at the next meeting.
Yes, sir.
That may just be the policy that gets adopted, or maybe just discussions of the general policy direction, because obviously that budget's going to be adopted while the 5 years still here, and so you can do a mix of things next time, even if it's the overall direction that's being sought here would require a major mid-year overhaul.
I wouldn't be looking forward to that overhaul. All right.
Are there any counties that just have no comp time? Just comp time doesn't exist? Just pay the overtime?
I don't know. I know that around here there's certainly a mix of it. I don't know of any county that doesn't have it at all, but I've not ever looked at that with any sort of intent. That's just all information I've heard from the side.
I'm just wondering the concept of comp time. Did that just come up so that county governments, city governments, whatever, could pass the dollar down the line? Like, I'm not paying the money today. I might have to pay it in the future, but is that where it started?
No, it started in the 70s with federal rules about there was the FMLA on one side of employment law, and then ERISA, which is the Employee Retirement Income Security Act of 1974, which is where 401ks and health insurance as part of groups come from. All of that mixed into post-1960 civil rights rules. And the reason that you see all these complicated structures is because of that complicated historical mix of different laws. That's what brought, minimum wage to play and caused the creation of these different schemes. Most of them, it happened the other way around, where it looks like there's little safe harbors for businesses and governments to use for things like that, for budgetary, mid-year budgetary change, alleviation of problems. And those structures were put into place not on purpose to help save money. They were just used that way by financial professionals that mined them for use in that regard way after the fact, sometimes 40 years after the fact. But the thing that you're talking about didn't come about as a budget saving effort. It was a mix of many different laws over a 50 or 60 year period.
Gotcha.
Well, I do like the idea of taking it off the balance sheet. So how we achieve that, I don't know, but I think that's
It's good.
puts money
Some
in.
involved conversations, I think, between all of us. It's one thing that if we're not like a budget workshop, we all sit down and look at everything together and put all our brains together and come up with a plan. I don't think it'll be perfect, but at least start, right?
Yeah.
How this budget ends might have some bearing on it too. What's your fund balance? How much money do you have to take care of this? We don't know exactly what that is until the audit's done.
Well, there has to be some balance there because we've gone a few months without having a full staff of 17 people, right?
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
or actually, there's more positions than that because we added three other positions or four, including dispatch that
The thing with the only position we had was Miss Fannin, I think.
Miss Fannin.
And she's in jail.
Okay.
That comes up to I know it's been explained to me 5 times, but why do the dispatchers, why do they accrue overtime every week?
Because they're basically civilian employees.
But I mean,
That came about even before my time. Stacy would be the best one to answer that question, but she's on vacation today.
I do know it's confusing, so dispatch gets paid overtime. I think Road and Bridge gets paid overtime, but other civilian employees get overtime. They have to take comp time too, so it's kind of confusing to me too. I agree with that.
Yeah, and I think that's just that was a rule when I started here almost 5 years ago. So,
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know how certain people get paid overtime, certain people don't. I don't know.
well, Road and Bridge came up and asked, and then Commissioner's Court passed it, so then it changes the personnel policy. So,
do you think that those folks getting paid overtime helps you with your retention of dispatchers?
I do believe getting paid overtime does help the retention, but again, it's like it's any human equation. You gotta manage it, right? If you don't manage it, it'll be abused, and then it just creates more problems for us. So it has to be managed. If it's not managed right, then we're gonna create more problems. And I'm trying to treat this problem with public hands.
So I guess we don't have what we need to take any action.
Nope. We have recognized the problem though.
Yeah.
That we already knew was there.
Yeah, I guess we can talk about it. We got a T-Bird, see if there is some dollar amount that we feel comfortable paying current overtime until we get to the end of the budget year.
Okay.
And maybe next court we can flip the switch.
All right. So, and then maybe you can work with Mr. Ray.
Yes.
We voted on that to consider it, so I guess we need to vote on.
I'll make a motion to take no action.
Motion to take no action on item number 10. There's a second for that?
Second.
Have a second for that. I'll just favor that one. Aye. Motion to, or let's vote on the original motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Wait, no, do we want to do that? No, I don't think so. We'll do that one too. Aye on that one too. All right.
We got lost in there.
I got lost in it too. I was thinking that he'd made a motion to. I think now we're ready to go into executive session, right?
Please.
All right, so it's now 1:04 p.m. The Reigns County Commissioners Court will be going into executive session as permitted by Texas Government Code 551.071, a consultation with an attorney.
So moved.
On which items? On the agenda.
Oh, on the following items on the agenda, which would be items number 9 and item number 8. Is that correct?
Yes.
So those have been the 2 items we'll discuss in executive session.
Would item 7 also, didn't we skip it?
Motion to approve.
7, 8, and 9.
7, 8, and 9. All right. So we're going to go into executive session. Item number 7, 8, and 9. Which are listed in our agenda. Which was posted on March 6th,
Need a motion to go into executive session.
Have a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Commissioner Young. Second. We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're now in executive session. Time is now 1:06.